This page is the vibrant cover of SEGA Saturn magazine. It prominently features key artwork from Sakura Wars 2 and the strategy RPG White Witch. The cover highlights exciting pre-release coverage for Sakura Wars 2 and a full data reveal for White Witch, along with features on the mecha combat game Iron Leaguer and the latest entry in the Even visual novel series, Even the Lost One. Also announced are the results of the eagerly anticipated SEGA Saturn magazine Grand Prix 97 reader poll. Inside you'll find coverage on titles like the action game Burning Rangers, the RPG Azel, Panzer Dragoon RPG, known internationally as Panzer Dragoon Saga, the fighting game Darkstalkers 3, Vampire Savior, The King of Fighters 97, and a special creator column by Yuji Naka. This issue from March 13, 1998, gives a great snapshot of the diverse lineup on the platform at the time. This page features prominent artwork for the SEGA Saturn game Puyo Puyo Gaiden, Puyo Wars. The art shows three main characters, a male swordsman with white hair, and two female characters in blue and yellow outfits. They are set against a backdrop that blends architectural elements with the signature Puyo blocks and creatures from the Puyo Puyo series, including a small creature form of Arlenaja. The text clearly labels it as Puyo Puyo Gaiden and identifies it as an adventure RPG for the SEGA Saturn, developed by Compile with a copyright date of 1998. This page serves as an exciting visual reveal for a new entry in the popular Puyo Puyo universe, stepping into the RPG genre. This page unveils more details about Buken Ukoku Puyo Puyo, Fushigi no Kuni no Arle, known here as Waku Waku Puyo Puyo Land, the adventure RPG for SEGA Saturn that builds on the beloved Puyo Puyo universe. The game is highlighted as a heart-pounding adventure RPG, with a unique mechanic where the map changes, promising triple the fun compared to standard titles. As an incentive for early adopters, initial copies include a special bandana map as a first-run bonus item. You can find more information about Waku Puyo on Compile's official website, with the URL provided. The page also features details about the Tokyo Game Show 98 Spring, taking place on March 21st and 22nd, 1998, at Makuhari Messe. Admission prices were set at 800 yen for advance tickets and 1,000 yen for same-day tickets, with free entry for junior high school students and below. The game's price is listed separately as 5,800 yen before tax. This page serves as an excellent look at the game's features, a bonus item, and where to see it firsthand at one of the biggest gaming events of the time. This page welcomes you into the dark world of Dungeon Master Nexus for the SEGA Saturn. It's presented as a complete 3D real-time RPG, a powerful rebirth of the acclaimed original Dungeon masterpiece. The developers promise an immersive experience with monsters rendered in full polygons, unsettling dungeons, and intricate traps designed to provide maximum realism. The headline sets the tone perfectly, declaring, "Welcome to the nightmare." The page confirms the game's release date for the SEGA Saturn version as March 26th, priced at 6,800 yen before tax. It's clear this title aims to deliver the classic dungeon crawling intensity with updated graphics for the Saturn hardware. This page immediately draws you into the world of Dungeon Master Nexus with a dramatic visual. The striking image dominates the page, featuring a formidable figure in red and gold robes with a menacing face and piercing red eyes. This character appears to be a central figure, perhaps the master of the labyrinth itself. The text above translates to the labyrinth of despair, perfectly setting the tone for this 3D real-time RPG and reinforcing the themes of the classic Dungeon Master experience that the game is based on. Published by Victor, the page effectively uses this powerful imagery and title to convey the dark and challenging nature of the dungeon crawl that awaits players in Dungeon Master Nexus on the SEGA Saturn. This page serves as the contents for the SEGA Saturn magazine issue from March 1998. The cover section proudly displays contents and identifies the publication as SEGA Saturn Magazine, issue volume 7, dated March 6, 13, 1998. The main highlights are clearly laid out. Kicking off at page 83 is the much-anticipated announcement of the SEGA Saturn Magazine Grand Prix 1997 results, covering the year's best games, presented here in the first part. Page 18 features a substantial special report packed with the latest information on upcoming and popular titles. This section includes coverage on major releases like Sakura Wars 2, Thou Shalt Not Die, Neon Genesis Evangelion, Girlfriend of Steel, the intense action of Burning Rangers, the mystery of Eve the Lost One, the fighting prowess of Vampire Savior, and the King of Fighters 97, and the chilling horror of the House of the Dead. There's also a feature on Dungeon Master Nexus, building on the classic RPG franchise, and updates on sports titles like SEGA Worldwide Soccer 98 and Pro Yaku Greatest 998, among many others. A character illustration, appearing to be Ritsuko Akagi from Evangelion, accompanies this section. Finally, on page 126, the monthly creator biography series continues with its third installment, profiling the renowned programmer Yuji Naka, a key figure behind many iconic SEGA titles. This magazine issue continues its game index and highlights SEGA Saturn software. The SEGA Saturn Press section previews upcoming releases, with new release titles like Roommate 3 and Virtual Mahjong on page 139. Coming soon, on page 142, teases Riven, Courier Crisis, and Time Commando. Page 152 features a complete guide to titles like The White Witch, Another Heroic Legend, Stellar Assault SS, and Panzer Dragoon Saga. Additional content includes a Chaos Seed Roundtable, page 132, and a report from the AOU show, page 194, previewing Cyber Troopers Virtualon Oratorio Tangram. The magazine's right column contains an extensive, alphabetized game index, covering a diverse range of genres, and includes titles from other platforms. The next page covers several exciting events. Tokyo Joyopolis was buzzing with activity, hosting the SEGA Saturn Festa centered around the game Burning Rangers. The event featured live music performances, adding to the energy. Also featured was a popularity poll for Sonic Team characters, with the results showing Sonic at the top, followed by Knights, Tails, Miles, Shao, and Metal Sonic. There was also a user monitoring session for Burning Rangers held to gather feedback from players. Finally, the page reports on the AOU 1998 show, highlighting the latest arcade games. Big hits included Cyber Troopers Virtualon Oratorio Tangram, SEGA Rally 2, and Fighting Vipers 2, drawing large crowds and generating excitement for arcades. This page features several news items and events. The first article reports on a special preview event held at SEGA headquarters, showcasing new UFO catcher prizes for summer, including items for Sakura Wars and other popular characters like Krekre Tokora. The next article announces the opening of Asovini, a new digital character goods shop in Harajuku, which opened on March 6th, and plans events featuring games such as Moon and Denpa-Zaru. There was also a Valentine's Day event on February 14th for the game Gakyu OU, the Gakuen Kumon, hosted by KSS, which included voice actor talk sessions and live music. For Ultraman fans, the page announces the movie release of Ultraman Tiga and Ultraman Dyna, the Warriors of the Star of Light, starting March 14th, with a ticket giveaway for readers. Finally, KSS released new entries in their novel series, based on popular games. Hukago Renai Club, Eino Etude Round 2, and Muzintu Monogatari Dokiri, Vacants, both released on February 19th. The page also mentions an event at Tokyo Joyopolis for the CD debut of Naomi Shinohara, whose debut song, Amber, is also a campaign song for Ishibashi Bicycle. This page covers several key news items and music releases. Kicking things off, Fujisaki Shiori from Tokimeki Memorial is releasing her third single, titled Mao Ichido Kiss Shiyu, Yume wo Dakishimete, which is perfectly timed for the season of new beginnings. There's also a campaign running for her releases, including giveaways like telephone cards and original goods. Related to Tokimeki Memorial, there's a gift campaign for the Memorial Collection Volume 4 release, offering special foil cards and sheets, and a limited edition of the Memorial Collection was also released. In other news, the second volume of the Machi Drama CD is out, featuring a brand new scenario. This is exciting as it delves into the world and background of the Machi game, a critically acclaimed title. A significant announcement comes from Sony Computer Entertainment Inc., who have unveiled a small, portable hardware device currently under development. Shown here, this device appears to be the Pocket Station, equipped with a 32-bit CPU and capable of sound and communication, utilizing the PS memory card slot for downloading software. The big question raised here is what impact this new competitor hardware will have on Sega's own future plans. Finally, there's a section highlighting new music CD releases. Among them are various artists, including a notable compilation titled Mazinger Densetsu, which celebrates Go Nagai's 30th anniversary with theme songs and BGM from classic robot anime like Mazinger Z and Steel JEEG. This page reviews essential guidebooks for Sega Saturn users, highlighting a top 5 bestsellers chart for a 2-week period. Detailed reviews cover various guides. The Shining Force 2 Eyes Scenario 1 Official Guide offers clean design and comprehensive coverage. The Shining Force 2 Eyes Scenario 1 Perfect Navy is praised for its detailed content. Guides for Panzer Dragoon Saga include the SoftBank Official Guide with developer interviews, and a Shueisha book focusing on characters and strategy. Other reviews include the Tilk, The Girl from the Blue Sea Official Guidebook, and the Michinoku Secret Hot Spring Love Story Guidebook. Finally, guides for Saturn Bomberman Fight and Blue Breaker Sword and Smile are also reviewed. This page dives into the Sega Saturn software sales charts, presenting the top 15 best-selling games from shops across Japan. This data provides a real snapshot of what gamers were picking up that week. Leading the pack at number 1 is the new release, SD Gundam G Century S, showing strong initial sales for this strategic simulation title. Just behind it, Winter Heat holds steady at second place, proving its enduring appeal as a sports title. Climbing up to third is the magnificent Panzer Dragoon Saga, a truly epic RPG that every Saturn owner should experience. We see another new entry at fourth place, with the Sakura Wars Sega Saturn Collection, bringing the beloved adventure series to more players just in time for the sequel. Other notable games in the top ranks include the visual novel Sentimental Graffiti, the popular sports management game Let's Make a Pro Soccer Club 2, and the critically acclaimed RPG Grandia. Survival horror fans kept Resident Evil in the top 10, while the Tomb Raider Sega Saturn Collection also made its debut. Fighting game enthusiasts were still enjoying X-Men vs. Street Fighter, which appears at number 15. The ranking shows a mix of new hits and established classics holding their ground, along with estimated weekly and cumulative sales figures for each. This page explores the Sega Saturn gaming landscape, focusing on player desires and arcade trends. The user data top 20 highlights games Saturn owners most want, with Final Fantasy topping the list, alongside Request for the Last Blade, Tales of Destiny, and Marvel vs. Capcom. This reflects a desire for ports of popular titles from other platforms and arcades. The Shop Data Top 15 showcases the arcade scene, with Virtua Fighter 3 TB leading the way, followed by Tekken 3 and Virtua Striker 2. Sega's Cyber Troopers Virtualon also remains popular. The page also reveals the confirmed Saturn port of Densha de Go, and the anticipation surrounding Marvel vs. Capcom. Star Gladiator 2 is highlighted from the arcade side, along with Cyber Troopers Virtualon Oratorio Tangram. The page offers insights into the future hopes for the Saturn and the arcade's influence. The Sega Saturn User Data Top 30 list showcases the most anticipated software. Topping the list is Sakura Wars 2, Thou Shalt Not Die, followed by Neon Genesis Evangelion, Girlfriend of Steel and Super Robot Wars, F Final Chapter. The list includes a variety of genres, with popular titles like Eve the Lost One, Vampire Savior, Virtua Fighter 3, and Resident Evil 2. Pick up check games! Highlight Gungriffon 2, a mech shooter, and Friends Seishun no Kagayaki, a summer adventure game. Other check, coming soon, features Pocket Fighter and Legend of Heroes, a tier of vermilion. The list reflects Saturn owners' excitement for sequels, ports, and new entries across diverse game categories. This page features the weekly Sega Saturn Readers Race Ranking, compiling votes from readers on all currently released Sega Saturn software. Based on votes submitted up to February 27th, this edition ranks 918 titles. The ranking shows the position, previous position, game title, genre, and the average score from all voters. This week's results see Grandia reclaim the top spot at number 1. Meanwhile, Chaos Seed, Feng Shui Chronicle makes a significant leap from 6th place to 2nd, showing strong player engagement and positive reception. The section below highlights these movements, noting Grandia's return to 1st place and Chaos Seed's rapid ascent. Small screenshots on the page showcase character art from various games. The process for voting and how the results are compiled is also explained, emphasizing that only games with 10 or more votes are included for reliability. The Odds Table Saturn B presents reader rankings for Sega Saturn games. New arrivals include Winter Heat, an arcade-style winter sports game lauded by readers, 9.1248, but criticized by the staff, 7.0, for lacking single-player excitement. DJ Wars, a DJ simulation, earned a 7.3 reader score and 6.33 from the magazine, with some finding it overly complex. Jewels of Oracle, a challenging puzzle game, scored 7.25 with readers and 5.33 from the staff, with some wishing for hints. Jungle Park, a minigame collection, received a 7.2. Welcome House, an adventure game, scored 6.8571. Mario Mushano's Super Shogi Academy, a shogi game, got a 6.0, and Try Rush Deppy, an action game, received a low 4.4 due to repetitive gameplay. This page continues the reader rankings for Sega Saturn games in Volume 89, presenting the Odds Table Saturn C. This section covers games ranked from 328 down to 630, listing their previous rank, name, genre, and average reader score. Below the extensive list, the magazine provides commentary on the rankings. It notes that the Datic table shows a mix of activity, including some new releases. Specific games mentioned for their significant rank movements include JIKU Powerful Pro Yakyu S, referred to as Power Pro S, which dropped 25 spots to 225, likely a typo in the text. As the table starts at 328, it should refer to a rank within the key table or a different list not shown. Zero Kion Champ, which fell 16 spots to 310, Zero Diva, which rose 16 spots to 320, and Minari 1 Heron Gikiju 1, a horse racing game which climbed 26 spots to 343. The magazine suggests paying attention to these shifts. 2 screenshots are included. One shows a scene with characters, identified in the text as likely relating to Sakura Wars 2, a highly anticipated game expected to influence future rankings. The other screenshot is from Minari 1 Heron Gekiju, showing a race results screen with a horse and a message indicating finishing second. The text concludes by emphasizing the upcoming release of Sakura Wars 2 and its potential impact. This page continues the Sega Saturn Reader Race rankings in Volume 89, presenting the Odds Table Saturn D, which lists games ranked from 631 downwards by reader score. The main feature is a spotlight on Devil Summoner, Soul Hackers, Volume 33 in the series, written by Ray Ida. This critically acclaimed RPG from Atlas, released in November 1997, holds a high reader score of 9.5495 and a magazine score of 8.0. The article describes Soul Hackers as the second game in the Devil Summoner series, set in a near-future network city, exploring themes of technology, society, and the supernatural. It's praised for striking a balance that appeals to both newcomers and veterans of the Megami Tensei series. The feature highlights the game's use of movies, true motion, which blends seamlessly with the gameplay, particularly noting the impressive representation of the network world. Screenshots show character portraits, including the protagonist Hitomi and others, and a first-person dungeon view demonstrating the helpful features of the comp device. A reader comment praises the game's demo movies, deep story, detailed system, including the install feature, and the demon system as being exceptional. The development staff recommends players focus on the characters' inner selves and relationships to gain a deeper appreciation for the story and enhance their enjoyment. A brief section comments on the Odds Table Saturn D rankings, mentioning the game Yellow Brick Road, a demon character based on the Wizard of Oz, noted for its peculiar unmoving nature. This page continues the reader race from the previous issue, presenting rankings and reader feedback. It includes a ranking of Sega Saturn peripheral devices by reader score, highlighting which accessories were most popular and well-regarded. Featured upcoming software previews include SD Gundam G Century S, scoring 7.66 for the magazine, with comments noting its similarity to the PlayStation version but criticizing long loading times. Tenant Wars receives a 6.66, praised for featuring real-name tenants, which adds excitement to the competitive gameplay shown in the screenshots. The dungeon crawler Wizardry Nemesis, however, gets a low 5.33, with the reviewer expressing disappointment that it doesn't feel like a traditional wizardry game and lamenting the loss of the character-raising enjoyment, also noting high difficulty and slow controls. The page also invites readers to participate in the reader race contests by submitting game reviews and predictions. This includes guessing the debut ranking of games like Burning Ranger and predicting the debut reader score for titles like Dukoku Soshite, Sorrow, and Then. Readers can win prizes like Sega Saturn peripherals by entering these prediction games and sharing their opinions on various software and hardware. A section also provides reader feedback on current events in games, including discussions about sequels and musicals. This page is a massive feature highlighting the upcoming release of Sakura Wars 2, presented as an ultra-fastest, all-out big scoop, spanning 10 pages. The main visual prominently features Sakura Shinguji, alongside other key characters from the Imperial Combat Review, and potentially the new Paris Kagekidan, including the blonde character Erika Fontaine and the male protagonist Ichiro Ogami in smaller panels. The page announces that the curtain is rising again for the series, with only 36 days left until the game's release on April 4th. It teases a storm of romance in Taisho Sakura, and promises new information in this relentless cherry blossom blizzard. The editorial department boasts of obtaining exclusive new details, including fresh visuals and an interview with series creator Oji Hiroi, presented in this comprehensive, ultra-fast feature. Sakura Wars 2 is confirmed as a dramatic adventure game for one player, recommended for all ages, scheduled for release on April 4th at a price of 6,800 yen across 3 discs. The subtitle for this entry is revealed as Thou Shalt Not Die. This extensive spread indicates significant anticipation and coverage for one of the Sega Saturn's most prominent titles, promising fans a deep dive into the game before launch. This page continues the extensive feature on the highly anticipated Sakura Wars 2, promising to reveal more new facts about the game. It highlights the countdown to the release and mentions an upcoming interview with series creator Oji Hiroi on a later page. Key improvements to the gameplay interface are showcased, particularly the item window, which has evolved to display not just the item name but also its description and use, making it much more informative. New screenshots are also revealed, giving a glimpse into various scenes and game elements like the timing lip system and the Imperial map. A significant focus is placed on the enhanced emotional expression of the characters. The page points out that while the previous game mainly showed changes in facial expressions and hand positions, Sakura Wars 2 features much richer, full-body emotional reactions. Using Sakura Shinguji as an example, it demonstrates how characters can convey different feelings like joy, anger, or turning away, adding depth and immersion to the narrative sequences. The visuals accompanying this section effectively illustrate the range of these improved animations. This page presents a showcase of the core cast from Sakura Wars 2, highlighting the significant visual refresh for all characters. The feature emphasizes that not only the new members, Lani and Orihime, have updated designs, though they aren't shown here, but every returning character, including protagonist Ogami, has been completely redrawn for the sequel. The page provides detailed profiles for 6 key members of the Imperial Combat Review: Sakura Shinguji, Sumire Kanzaki, Iris Chateaubriand, Maria Tachibana, Lee Kohran, and Kana Kirishima. Each profile includes updated character art, a summary of their background and personality, and a small in-game screenshot or character portrait with a quote, demonstrating the enhanced character models and expressions mentioned on the previous page. For instance, we see Sakura, now 19, still wielding her sword, Sumire, the original Ojo-sama, known for her family's engineering legacy, and Iris, the small adult, with powerful abilities. Maria is depicted with her signature calm demeanor, Lee Kohran is highlighted as the explosive inventor girl, and Kana, the master of Ryukyu karate, is shown with the descriptor, powerful blow. The visual updates across the board promise a fresh look for this beloved team as they embark on new challenges. This page continues our deep dive into the world of Sakura Wars 2, following up on the previous look at the updated core combat review members. Here, we get a closer look at 6 more key characters who will play significant roles in the adventure. We are introduced to Soretta Orihime, an Italian stage actress and noble, radiating an air of elegance. Then there's Ikki Yoneda, the seemingly perpetually drunk director of the Imperial Theater, revealed to be a legendary military strategist. The page also profiles members of the administrative staff: Kasumi Fuji, known for her calm and gentle nature, and Yuri Kanbara, the bright and energetic gossip enthusiast who gathers information. Tsubaki Takamura, the cheerful shopkeeper in the lobby, is also featured. Crucially, this page introduces René Milchstrasse, described as a perfect combat machine from Germany, with a mysterious, closed-off past. Intriguingly, the profile states that, aside from Commander Ichiro Ogami, René is the first male member to join the Imperial Combat Review team. Finally, the page confirms the return of protagonist Ichiro Ogami, discussing his role after returning from training abroad, and how the story of Sakura Wars 2 begins with his arrival. A note mentions that while Ogami is central, visual scenes showing his updated character design haven't been fully revealed yet, speculating on changes to his appearance. The page features character portraits and small in-game screenshots, showcasing the visual style for these supporting and new characters. This page gives us a detailed look at the significantly renovated Imperial Theater, the central hub of Sakura Wars 2, which was damaged in the climax of the first game. The page highlights the major design changes, emphasizing that a new Imperial Theater has been born. The main feature is a comprehensive map and overview of the first floor, showcasing its new layout and interactive areas. Unlike the top-down perspective of the first game, the exploration now appears to use a more dynamic viewpoint. We see key locations, such as the costume room, stage wings, prop room, music room, manager's office, administration office, guest entrance, kitchen, dining hall, courtyard, shop, and main entrance. The text explains that the first floor serves as the public face of the Imperial Theater and is where the Imperial Combat Review operates. It mentions that the shop is run by Tsubaki, one of the characters introduced on the previous page. A notable addition is the courtyard, marked as its new place, suggesting it will be a location for new events and interactions. The music room is also highlighted as a new area, replacing the dormitory room from the previous game, likely used for singing lessons and voice training. The page notes that these areas will host various events and provide opportunities to deepen relationships with the characters. This page continues our exploration of the rebuilt Imperial Theater in Sakura Wars 2, delving into the levels below the ground floor. We get a detailed look at the second floor and the first basement level, revealing different aspects of the team's life and operations. The second floor is presented as the team members' private sanctuary, a place for relaxation and personal space. It features individual rooms for each member, designed to reflect their personalities, alongside communal areas like the salon and terrace. A new game room is highlighted, suggesting new minigames or events will take place here. There's also a library, noted as returning from the previous game. This floor is described as the ideal place to connect with team members and hear their true feelings. Heading down to the first basement, we see the true operational core of the Imperial Combat Review. This level houses critical facilities, such as the Strategy Command Room, where battle plans are made and the team gathers before sorties. We also see the medical room, training room, and the hangar located further below, where the Kubu mechs are stored. These areas emphasize the military side of the review, vital for their fight against demons. The page also points out the swimming pool and renovated bathroom facilities, highlighting the training and recovery aspects available here. This underground level is crucial for the review's activities and promises significant story events. This page dives into the evolution of the signature lip system in Sakura Wars 2, announcing the addition of 3 new types. Lips, the live interactive picture system, is the core of the game's adventure segments, allowing players to express protagonist Ogami's reactions and influence relationships and the story through timed dialogue choices. The main focus is on one of the new types, Click Lips. This system introduces a time limit, where players must actively click on the screen to investigate areas or interact with the environment to find items or clues. The example shown illustrates searching for decorations for a welcome party in the Imperial Theater's basement warehouse. The player has limited time to click around, and failing to find the required item before the timer runs out can lead to negative consequences, highlighting the system's tension and urgency. This dynamic new lips type adds a layer of active exploration and player agency to the adventure segments. This page continues the deep dive into the updated lips system for Sakura Wars 2, introducing 2 more dynamic variants beyond the click lips covered previously. First up is timing lips, which adds a new layer of tension as the available choices change over time within the set limit. Unlike standard lips where options remain static, timing lips can see options added or even removed as the clock ticks down. The example shown illustrates a scenario where initially 2 options are available: call out and chase. But as time passes, one option, chase, disappears, leaving only call out. This means choosing too late can drastically alter the outcome by limiting your available actions, requiring careful observation and quick decisions. Below that, the page details double lips. This system presents multiple lip sections simultaneously within a larger time constraint. The example given involves Ogami needing to get dressed quickly. Within the overall time limit, players must navigate through several mini-lip sections, selecting actions like put on trousers, take off pajamas, put on shirt, and tie, often with choices appearing sequentially. The challenge here is managing multiple quick decisions under pressure to complete a series of tasks before the main timer expires. This system adds a complex, multi-step, interactive challenge to certain scenarios. The page highlights that these new LIPS types demand careful attention to succeed within the strict time limits. This page features an emergency interview with Uji Hiroi, the general producer of Sakura Wars 2, as the game nears completion, just 36 days before release. Hiroi discusses the current development status, noting that the voice recording is finished, and everything is progressing smoothly towards completion. He talks about the challenges of creating a sequel to a hit game, particularly in expanding the world and characters, while maintaining the core appeal. He highlights the unique aspect of the Sakura Wars characters aging alongside the players, fostering a deeper connection. The interview also touches upon the new lip systems, including the double lips, which were a focus of the previous page, and how they contribute to the narrative depth. Additionally, the page includes comments from two other prominent game creators about their anticipation for Sakura Wars 2. Yoshiki Okamoto from Capcom sends well wishes to Hiroi, mentioning his own extensive collection of various items, including Sakura Wars goods, and expresses a desire for the series to sell millions domestically. Yu Suzuki from SEGA M2 also shares his high expectations for the game, praising the previous installment's scenario and direction as a flagship title for the Saturn. The page effectively conveys the excitement surrounding the upcoming release and highlights the positive reception from within the industry. This page continues the deep dive into Sakura Wars 2 with general producer Uji Hiroi just weeks before release. Hiroi details new enjoyable elements, confirming the addition of 2 new characters and describing their roles. He discusses the theme of the game, emphasizing that the characters must fight and live to return, not simply fight and die. He also touches on the updated map and theater rooms, mentioning that new rooms were added as needed because there are more characters interacting this time, leading to a significant increase in events and overall enjoyment. The interview also includes follow-up responses regarding the messages from Capcom's Yoshiki Okamoto and Sega M2's Yu Suzuki featured previously. Hiroi expresses his surprise and gratitude for their encouraging words, noting their status as major creators in the industry. Okamoto's message praises Hiroi and wishes for the series' domestic success, while Suzuki expresses his high expectations for Sakura Wars 2, highlighting the quality of the previous game's scenario and direction. The page features screenshots showing character interactions and scenes from the game, illustrating the visual novel and adventure elements. Overall, the page effectively builds anticipation for the release by showcasing new features and highlighting the positive reception from within the industry. This page presents a special report on the adventure game Neon Genesis Evangelion, Girlfriend of Steel, also known as Iron Maiden. The main headline translates to "Caught Between Duty and Love," perfectly encapsulating the game's premise, where protagonist Shinji Ikari navigates his responsibilities as an EVA pilot alongside burgeoning romantic possibilities. The page highlights the game's focus on story and character interaction through various screenshots. We see familiar faces like Rei Ayanami and Asuka Langley Soryu, with snippets of dialogue suggesting pivotal moments, such as listening to commands or everyday life. A significant portion is dedicated to the introduction of Mana Kirishima, a new character central to the plot, including a scene preparing for a date. The text details the circumstances surrounding Shinji's life becoming unexpectedly busy, leading to him asking Mana out on a date. It describes the day of the date, with Mana appearing in a charming white dress. The report emphasizes that while details of the date itself are kept under wraps, the game is filled with romantic situations, making it highly anticipated. Scheduled for release on March 19th by Sega, this adventure title is priced at 6,800 yen and comes on 2 discs, promising a substantial experience. It's clear from this preview that Girlfriend of Steel delves deeper into the personal lives and relationships of the characters, adding a significant relationship simulation element to the Evangelion universe. This report focuses on Shinji's first date with Mana Kirishima in Neon Genesis Evangelion, Girlfriend of Steel. The article emphasizes the player's control over the date's outcome, featuring illustrations and dialogue snippets from the date. Key moments include a cruise on Lake Ashi's Hakone pirate ship, described as a particularly beautiful scene. A separate development introduces a mysterious mobile object that reappears transformed at Shiraido Falls. Investigations are underway to determine its nature, potentially involving a new humanoid weapon. A screenshot hints at a confrontation with Unit 01. The report concludes by suggesting further exploration in locations like Yumoto Onsen Town and Komagatake, highlighting the game's blend of romance and action. This page is a special report celebrating the release of Burning Rangers. It focuses on the newly revealed Mission Clear demos that play between stages, noting that the animated scene between Mission 1 and 2 was handled by the studio responsible for the opening movie. It also mentions that later missions will feature separate, character-specific scenes for Sho and Chris, adding replay value. The page also features a news flash about a bonus CD included with the SEGA Saturn Magazine 3/6 special issue. For those who bought it, there's a hidden treasure: music tracks from the game's trial version. Placing the CD in a Saturn allows you to listen to the Sonic Team logo sound, the title theme, and then a medley of trial version music, followed by the ending theme, I Just Smile. It warns that the audio tracks may not play correctly on regular audio players, but can be accessed on a Saturn. Screenshots depict moments from the game, including Sho and Chris together, the team transporting via a smoky device, individual character portraits of Chris and the whole team, and the burning ship flying through the sky. Game information confirms it is an action game developed by SEGA, available now for 5,800 yen, supports the analog controller, and is for one player. The Generate system in Burning Rangers, unlocked after the first playthrough, randomizes map layouts for increased replayability. This system combines pre-designed map segments, creating a staggering 3,125 possible map variations for each mission, excluding Mission 4. This affects the physical layout, enemy placement, and rescue target locations, resulting in altered navigation and challenges. To replay a specific generated layout, players receive a password upon mission completion. These passwords can be shared to help others rescue specific individuals, adding a unique cooperative aspect to the game, as noted by Yuji Naka. Screenshots demonstrate the system's impact, with enemies appearing in unexpected areas, ensuring a fresh experience with each playthrough. This page provides a detailed guide for the second mission of Burning Rangers, titled Silent Blue, Aqua Spool in Corral. It presents specific map layouts for different sections of the mission, labeled Map A, Map B, and Map C, helping players navigate the sprawling aquatic facility. These maps use symbols to denote key features, like rescue targets, represented by a stick figure, switches, doors opened by switches, water routes, and dead ends. Accompanying the maps are numbered tips, corresponding to locations on the maps. Tip 1 explains how to enter ventilation shafts, noting they are often subtle but crucial for accessing certain areas. Tip 2 details the Orca tank area, mentioning the need to find a switch to help a trapped individual. Tip 3 covers dealing with the guide Robo Guardian D enemy, highlighting its attack pattern and the strategy of destroying it to open doors. Tip 4 focuses on the whale room, located on the second floor, explaining how to reach it via platforms, and warning about a current that can sweep you away. Finally, Tip 5 guides players to acquire the Anyboid card needed to open a locked door in the back room of the whale room, noting it can be obtained from a standard rescuer. The screenshots illustrate gameplay moments related to these tips, showing ventilation shafts, enemy encounters, and interior locations within the facility. While the game features randomized layouts, these guides likely focus on fixed segments or common structures within the mission. This guide covers the second mission of Burning Rangers, focusing on navigating through underwater and hazardous environments. Players explore submerged areas without a time limit, starting with Map D. Key steps include finding your partner and navigating a one-way door section. Rescue the person on the left first. Following a dolphin in the underwater labyrinth is crucial. Map involves choosing between two paths, with a recommendation to rescue someone on the left first to aid later recovery, noting a one-way door on the right. The final challenge is the four-pillar hall, a collapsing room filled with green flames. Extinguish them carefully. The boss, Angulatus, is fought in a flooded room. Defeat the boss by jumping across platforms and hitting it with charged shots when it surfaces, particularly mid-air shots. Be mindful of sinking platforms and avoid falling into the water to escape torpedo attacks. This page features the upcoming game Eve: The Lost One, a multi-site adventure game. It highlights the return of key characters from the previous game, Burst Error. The main character featured is Kojiru Tenjo, one of the dual protagonists from the series, shown prominently on the left and with a character profile on the right. The page includes portraits of other familiar faces like Mari Hosho, Keiho Katsuragi, and Keiko Hyomuro, noting their relationships and the subtle changes 3 years after the events of the previous game. It seems Kojiru is still running his detective agency, even taking on less-than legal jobs to make ends meet. The article teases that the involvement of these returning characters will deepen the story. The game was released on March 12th for 7,800 yen on 4 krdroms. This page continues focusing on Even the Lost One, providing detailed character profiles for 2 key figures. On the left is Kyoko Hyomuro, a staff member at the Tenju Detective Agency. Her profile notes her age is around 30. She is 159 centimeters tall and weighs 49 kilograms, with measurements of B86/W61 per hour 90. It's been 3 years since she transferred to the agency, and despite dealing with less glamorous cases like searching for lost pets and handling infidelity investigations, she's enjoying her new life after brightening up the office. Featured on the right is Yayoi Katsuragi, around 30 years old, 165 centimeters tall, and weighing 53 kilograms, with measurements of B88/W60 per hour 90. She is the head of the Katsuragi Detective Agency. Her profile reveals she was both a former colleague and a former lover of Kojiro Tenju. Her primary motivation for working hard as the head of her agency is purely so she doesn't lose to her rival, the Tenju Detective Agency. The page includes various character art showing different facial expressions and poses for both characters, as well as full body shots. A small image shows Kyoko Hyomuro on the phone with another character also named Kyoko, the red-haired woman pictured, with the text noting, "The red-haired Kyoko seems emotional, possibly moved to tears by Hyomuro Kyoko's success." These profiles highlight the returning character and introduce a significant rival, setting up potential conflicts in the game's narrative. This page continues the deep dive into the world of Eve the Lost One, focusing on the enduring, often contentious relationship between the main protagonists, Kojiro Tenju and Yayoi Katsuragi. The prominent red title highlights that the two are still fighting fiercely, despite initial hopes that their agencies might merge after the events on the Tristan at the end of the previous game. 3 years on, their rivalry persists, exacerbated by Haruko Minase, whom Kojiro promised to look after, becoming a full-time assistant at Kojiro's agency, visibly irritating Yayoi. The page includes screenshots depicting scenes of Kojiro and Yayoi arguing in a park, described as resembling a lover's quarrel more than a serious professional conflict, despite Yayoi's apparent anger, often seen with her signature Vernier Slim cigarette. Text also mentions Purincia, a character from earlier Eve games who had a crush on Kojiro and was protected by Yayoi, noting their significant presence and anticipating their roles in the news story, though suggesting they likely won't turn into outright villains. A large illustration showcases the main cast of characters lined up, including familiar faces like Archbishop Romeo, Colonel Depp, Yayoi Katsuragi, Haruko Minase, Kojiro Tenju, and Yuji Eguni, with their heights listed. The caption beneath this impressive gathering tantalizingly hints at a central mystery or character within this group, by mentioning Snake. This page effectively conveys that Even the Lost One brings back key figures for another complex narrative filled with personal drama and intrigue. This page continues the look at Eve the Lost One, starting with the intriguing title, "Are They Getting Along?", hinting at the often tense relationship between the main characters. The text focuses on Yayoi Katsuragi, highlighting her serious personality as a potential flaw, and detailing her past as an elite agent who went undercover as a high school student using her notable hacking skills, which are expected to be crucial again. There's also a hint of concern about her feelings towards Kojiro, tying into the dynamic discussed previously. The page also mentions Kojiro's detective agency office, and touches upon the return of key figures from the previous game, with particular interest paid to how the mysterious character Snake will factor into the new story. The main visual is a large lineup of the game's central cast, displaying their relative heights and listing several character names and their specific measurements, offering fans a clear comparison of the key players appearing in this new installment. This page continues the deep dive into Even the Lost One, shifting focus to Snake's investigation. After finding Snake's trail post-explosion, the narrative sees the protagonist confronted by Adonis, who appears to be the sole witness. Snake decides to investigate the term Adonis and the tower's status, leading him to the Cafe Pose. It's here he encounters Maina, a waitress, and Monica, a frequent patron. Meeting them disqualifies them from being Snake suspects. The page highlights different aspects of the investigation and character interactions. Screenshots show an investigation into the meaning of Adonis and a park location where a murder occurred. There's a conversation snippet between Snake and Maina, where he learns about her background in the country of Alcatia. A dedicated section explores Monica through movie scenes, contrasting their bright tone with previously seen darker sequences, focusing on a mysterious moment where a hand touches her shoulder and she turns around looking surprised, leaving her reaction and the hand's owner a puzzle. This page gives a glimpse into the unfolding mystery and the introduction of key characters in Snake's path.
This page continues the examination of Snake's investigation in Eve the Lost One. We see screenshots depicting character interactions and plot points, including Snake's reaction to someone, and Monica confronting him, asking if he possesses that thing she's looking for. Maina from the cafe shares a cryptic rumor that the memory of the former king is still alive, adding another layer to the mystery. A significant text section focuses on figures resembling Snake appearing in the game's movie sequences. This includes a silhouette seen in the opening holding a gun, and another person laughing while seated in front of a computer, potentially running a program referred to by the code word Lost One. These appearances, while not confirmed to be Snaking himself, hint at dangerous events unfolding. We also see a scene featuring the woman associated with Alcatia, reinforcing the previous page's suggestion that the central mysteries are located there. The page culminates in a dramatic sequence involving Kyoko. Shown on a screen, perhaps from a movie file, Kyoko is seen on the phone. As she turns around, a silhouette emerges from the backlight, pulling out a gun and pointing it at her. The text emphatically states, "Kyoko is in danger! A gun is pointed at her!" leaving her fate uncertain. The page also notes that the screen can suddenly distort in the Snake arc, possibly signifying scene transitions or moments of tension. This page provides a special report on the SEGA Saturn version of Vampire Savior, known internationally as Darkstalkers 3. It dives into the game's system in preparation for its release, highlighting the slightly complex mechanics. The core controls are explained as straightforward, utilizing an 8-way D-pad for movement like walking forward, backward, and jumping, alongside 6 attack buttons offering 3 strengths each for punches and kicks. Special moves are performed by combining D-pad inputs with attack buttons. The game also features character-specific dashes executed by quickly double-tapping the D-pad forward or backward, some of which can even be done in the air. The overall control feel is noted as consistent with traditional fighting games, so players shouldn't feel lost. Screenshots illustrate how basic continuous combos can be performed by pressing attack buttons rhythmically, and how D-pad and button combinations unleash special techniques. There's also feedback aimed at the developers regarding the Saturn version, specifically hoping for improvements to the training mode. The current training is described as potentially tedious, leading players to give up. The suggestion is made to include rewards for completing challenges, such as unlocking the character Bishaman for performing 100 demon creeds within a time limit, encouraging players to practice and improve. The page features a large illustration of a boss character, likely Jeddah, emphasizing the game's dark fantasy theme. The game is confirmed to be a fighting game, requiring the 4 MB expanded RAM cartridge. Darkstalkers 3 on SEGA Saturn features a robust combat system centered around various attack options. Players can utilize normal moves, punches and kicks, that vary based on the character's state. A core mechanic is the chain combo, where normal attacks are linked in a specific sequence to create continuous attacks, requiring precise timing. Special moves, activated via command inputs, offer strategic advantages, like invincibility. X special moves are upgraded versions, consuming the special stock gauge for high damage. The special stock gauge fills through attacking and taking damage, enabling X moves. Finally, guard cancel allows players to counterattack while guarding by performing a special move, adding another layer of defensive and offensive strategy. Darkstalkers 3 features several key gameplay mechanics. The Dark Force system grants temporary, character-specific abilities activated by consuming the power gauge, enhancing movement, attack properties, or granting special effects. However, ending the effect prematurely leaves you vulnerable. Chase attacks allow players to attack downed opponents. While opponents recover faster in this game, it remains a valuable offensive and movement option. Throws are unblockable close-range grapple attacks, crucial for offense, and can lead to chase attacks. Different throw types, including command and X throws, exist. Finally, the game includes hidden arcade elements, such as Dark Gallon, Shadow, and a unique CPU-only Bishaman, with altered moves.
These elements add depth and variation, and the special Bishaman later became a playable character. This page dives into essential defensive and offensive strategies for Vampire Savior, known internationally as Darkstalkers 3. It begins by detailing the fundamental guarding system, explaining the three types: standing guard, crouching guard, and air guard. Each guard protects against different types of attacks. For instance, standing guard is weak to low attacks and throws, while crouching guard is vulnerable to overheads and throws. Air guard is effective against airborne attacks, but weak to ground normals and air throws. A key point is that guarding special or X moves still incurs chip damage. Next, the page highlights the advanced guard system, a mechanic introduced in Vampire Savior. By rapidly pressing a button while guarding, you can push the opponent back, creating distance and potentially interrupting their pressure. This is particularly useful when blocking chain combos, and is presented as a more reliable defensive escape than the less effective guard cancel in this iteration. Screenshots show examples of each guard type and the advanced guard effect.
Finally, the page offers points to victory tips.
It emphasizes mastering connecting combos for damage, knowing when to defend safely when low on health, utilizing character-specific strong offensive patterns and dash attacks, and engaging in psychological battles by reading the opponent's movements and anticipating their actions to secure victory. The large illustration of Pyron dominates the lower right of the page. This page shifts focus to the King of Fighters 97, highlighting the core difference introduced in this installment: the availability of two distinct gameplay modes for each character, known as Advanced and Extra modes. The content breaks down some common system mechanics and a character-specific move. It covers the blowaway attack, a strong blowback move present in both modes, noting that its timing and effectiveness have been toned down compared to previous King of Fighters titles. The guard cancel system is also detailed. This maneuver, performed while blocking, allows players to push the opponent back and interrupt their pressure, a vital defensive tool often associated with the advanced mode. Finally, an example of a character's special move is shown. See Kensu's Phoenix Dance, an aerial flame attack highlighted for its unique trajectory that makes it easy to aim. The page sets up a deeper dive into how the two modes fundamentally alter gameplay systems.
This page provides a guide to core gameplay mechanics in the King of Fighters 97, building upon the advanced and extra modes. Key techniques include the recovery roll, Yukemi, for quick knockdown recovery, and the taunt, Chohatsu, a purely psychological action. The backstep, a defensive maneuver, and normal jumps are also explained, with varying character arcs. Assist attacks, Engo Kugeki, allow players to call upon a partner for a special attack, determined by character compatibility, as seen on the character select screen. Finally, the guide highlights character-specific moves, like Rio's Drill and Clark's Great Hurricane Grab, emphasizing the importance of understanding these basic and character-specific actions for effective gameplay. The King of Fighters 97 offers distinct defensive and movement options based on the selected mode, Extra or Advanced. Extra mode features Attack Avoidance, a move with significant invincibility, but vulnerable to throws. Advanced mode employs Emergency Evasion, which allows for faster rolls for both defense and movement, even behind opponents. Advanced mode also features a crucial throw escape exclusive to the mode. Dashes also differ. Extra mode uses a quick hop for rapid distance closure and surprise throws. Advanced mode offers a continuous run for greater positioning control. Jumping while running in advanced mode changes jump trajectory. The page, illustrated with screenshots, explains these mechanics using characters like Yamazaki, Robert, and Terry, showcasing how mode selection fundamentally alters defensive and movement strategies. This page continues the comparison between extra and advanced modes in the King of Fighters 97, focusing on distinct differences in movement and combat systems. First up is the jump section, detailing how jump types significantly vary between the modes. Extra mode offers two types, a standard jump and a longer distance big jump. Advanced mode provides greater versatility with 4 jumps: small, medium, big, and the standard jump. The text highlights that the small and medium jumps are particularly crucial in advanced mode, forming a fundamental part of its offensive strategy. The screenshots clearly illustrate the visual differences in height for the small, medium, and big jumps using Terry Bogard and Chris. Below that is the power gauge system, another key mechanic that differs between modes.
In Extra mode, filling the gauge allows you to perform a power-up. This boosts your attack power and enables the use of super special moves, but the gauge slowly depletes while active. A potential drawback noted is the vulnerability while charging the gauge. Advanced mode utilizes a stock system. Filling the gauge adds a stock, allowing you to store up to 3 segments. These stocks can be consumed freely to perform super special moves, or even stronger max super special moves, giving players more tactical control over when to unleash their powerful attacks. Screenshots show characters like Kyo Kusanagi, Shermie, and Leona, illustrating the on-screen display during gameplay related to the power gauge and power-up state.
This page provides a special report on Eberouge Special, a romance training simulation game. The text announces the return of last year's Eberouge on Saturn as a new special version, promising players they can meet familiar characters like Noish and others again with smiles. The game is set in the world of Waland, where the goddess Ebid once averted disaster. The story follows archaeologist Saxon, who senses impending danger and founds Trifle's School to cultivate users of creation magic, the key to salvation mentioned in ancient myths. The protagonist is a former student returning to this school. Featured visuals include a large illustration of a woman under a full moon and smaller screenshots showcasing characters and the school building. The report indicates the game is a romance training simulation from Takara, scheduled for a July release at 5,800 yen, and is recommended for all ages. Development is currently at 60% completion. This page continues our look at Eberouge Special, revealing more details about this romance training simulation. The stage is set for a year and 9 months within the high school division of Trifle's School, where players will experience a more enriched school life. The ultimate goal remains the same as the previous game: learn creation magic to save the world of Waland. The game focuses on developing human relationships through magical studies and school events, influencing the story through friendship, love, magic, and adventure, leading to multiple endings. The screenshots show the detailed scheduling system and character status screens, allowing players to manage their time effectively. You can even revisit nostalgic memories of former classmates through the in-game album. A major highlight is the voice cast, featuring the same luxurious lineup as the popular radio drama Kotono Mitsuishi's Eberouge Legend. The game boasts full voice acting for most characters. Fans of the radio drama can also look forward to a series of related CD releases, including the original soundtrack and radio drama CDs, titled Trifle's School Story, with releases planned through the summer. Furthermore, the game adds a large volume of new scenarios and graphics, including exciting hidden events. There's even a hint that having save data from the previous game might trigger special events, adding an extra layer for returning players. Get ready for new drama hidden within the numerous story paths. This page features a special report on Mujintu Monogatari R, known internationally as Survival Life in the Uninhabited Region R, which is coming to the SEGA Saturn. This is the latest entry in the popular Mujintu Monogatari series, originally a flagship title on PC developed by KSS. The game falls under the unique genre of romance survival simulation. The core premise involves the survival life of 6 individuals, both male and female, who are stranded on an island. What sets this series apart is how it intertwines the harsh realities of survival with complex romantic relationships that develop among the group in their extreme circumstances. The page highlights the characters, with 4 anime-style female characters prominently displayed, suggesting they are central to the narrative and romance elements. Supporting images show typical island environments you'll encounter, including dense jungle foliage, a rustic survival hut, a waterfall, and a beach scene, all contributing to the isolated setting. Key details provided include that it's planned for a May release at a tentative price of 5,800 yen. It's recommended for players aged 18 and above, indicating the mature themes and content, and it is a single-player experience. This port brings the distinctive blend of resource management, exploration, and relationship building from the P original to the Saturn platform. Survival Life in the Uninhabited Region R focuses on survival and romance. A group of college students, including the protagonist and 2 male friends, plus 8 female students, are shipwrecked near Hawaii. Only 6 survive the initial disaster on a desert island. Gameplay centers on managing the group's survival through a map-based menu. Players must explore, investigate, cook, plan daily actions, and date to build relationships. Cooking is crucial for both survival and morale,
with ingredient combinations creating a variety of dishes. The romance aspect is significant, as the shared experience fosters emotional connections between the protagonist and the female characters. The game features character illustrations and a map screen showing character groups exploring different areas, emphasizing the relationships within the challenging environment. Uninhabited Island Story R introduces several characters. Asaka Hitomi, a 20-year-old literature student, is the protagonist's junior. Nakajima Rika, returning from the original game, is a 23-year-old engineering student with hidden feelings. Male characters include Takaoka Noboru, a 22-year-old law student, and Mashita Hiroki, a 22-year-old literature student and friend of the protagonist. The protagonist, described as ordinary, is central to the story. The series began with the original Uninhabited Island Story in 1994, focusing on shipwreck survival. The second game expanded upon this with a shipwrecked group and amnesiac protagonist. The third game radically shifted the series, with a post-apocalyptic setting and a large-scale simulation RPG battle system. The current game builds upon this history. This page delves deeper into the world of Uninhabited Island Story, introducing more key characters from the latest title, Uninhabited Island Story R. We meet several girls who find themselves shipwrecked alongside the protagonist. There's the cheerful and energetic 13-year-old Sonomura Tuko and her equally lively friend, Fujioka Miho. The character roster also includes the frail 18-year-old Hashimoto Yukimi, a talented and reserved 17-year-old named Morishita Natsuno, the quiet and socially awkward 16-year-old Urushizaki Yuka, and the tomboyish 16-year-old Tachihara Kira. Each profile gives a glimpse into their personality and how they might react to their predicament. The lower section provides a quick look at other games in this long-running series. Uninhabited Island Story X is noted as the first entry aimed at an adult audience, returning to a more survival-focused system, but adding combat elements, released for Windows. The Super Famicom version of the original Uninhabited Island Story is also featured, described as a major port with graphics updated for console play. As discussed previously, Uninhabited Island Story R is the newest game, shifting the focus from island escape to emphasizing survival and romance simulation with the featured characters, making it a lighter experience. This page features the romance adventure game, Friends. Published by NEC Interchannel, this title is scheduled for release in the summer with the price yet to be determined. The artwork prominently displays 3 female characters in swimwear, who are likely the main heroines in this dating simulation experience. The page includes a special report highlighting details about this upcoming release, emphasizing its focus on building relationships. This page showcases the romance adventure game, Friends: The Radiance of Youth, from NEC Interchannel. Following up on previous information, this spread offers new details, primarily focusing on never-before-seen game visuals and the voice acting cast. The artwork by Toru Mizutani features the game's characters, including a girl in a swimsuit, capturing the game's energetic atmosphere. Friends is highlighted as a SEGA Saturn remake of the classic PC romance adventure, Dukyusei, Classmates. The story revolves around a group of 13 boys and girls on a trip, exploring themes of bittersweet youth and relationships. The game is slated for a summer release. This page details the map and exploration features of Friends: The Radiance of Youth. The game features a vibrant map of Hoshifuri Sato Kogen, with enhanced navigation. Key improvements include zoomed-in location views and signals indicating character presence, streamlining the process of finding characters for interaction. The map showcases diverse locations, such as a church, cafe, amusement park, and scenic spots like the Blue Forest. Screenshots reveal characters in various settings, hinting at a variety of events and dating opportunities. The setting is designed to facilitate relationship building. The text also hints at potential differences in time progression compared to the original PC version. This page dives deeper into the world of Friends: The Radiance of Youth, focusing specifically on the complex romantic relationships players will navigate. The prominent title declares, "At the end of the love triangle," immediately setting the stage for the game's dating simulation core. The main illustration depicts the male protagonist interacting with the pink-haired heroine, hinting at their central relationship. Smaller illustrations and screenshots showcase other key characters, including the green-haired girl and potentially other rivals or romantic interests. The scene featuring the pink and green-haired girls in swimsuits suggests summer events and potential interactions in diverse settings, likely at the Hoshifuri Sato Kojin location discussed previously. The accompanying text explains that other male characters are present and often act as rivals, interfering with the protagonist's attempts to get closer to the girls. These rivals are not just casually enjoying the location, they are actively seeking relationships, leading to potential conflicts, and the very love triangle scenario highlighted by the title. The text emphasizes the protagonist's challenging position, caught between love and friendship, as these rivalries unfold. The game clearly revolves around managing these intricate social dynamics to achieve romantic success. This page reveals a major development for Friends: The Radiance of Youth. The voice cast has been decided. A large heading proclaims, "Voice actors also decided," followed by text expressing excitement about finally knowing which popular voices will bring the main characters, specifically mentioning Ayu and Mizuho, to life. The page showcases the 8 main heroines of the game. For each character, their name is listed, alongside their assigned voice actor. The accompanying text for each voice actor highlights their previous notable roles in anime and other games, including popular series like Pokemon, Slayers, Martian Successor Nadesico, Magic Knight Rayearth, Dragon Ball Z, and Chibi Maruko-chan, giving players a sense of the voices they can expect. Short quotes from each character are also included, offering a glimpse into their personalities. The descriptions briefly comment on how well the voice actor fits the character's archetype, such as Rika Matsumoto being suitable for the boyish Shizuka, or Yuko Minaguchi's voice being perfect for Mizuho. The announcement of this talented cast builds anticipation for hearing the characters speak within the game's narrative. This page continues the excitement for Friends: The Radiance of Youth. Following up on the voice actor announcement, here we see illustrations of some of the male characters from the game: Ryusuke Shiraishi, Yosuke Takiguchi, Ryo Endo, and Fujio Shikishima. Just like the heroines on the previous page, their voice actors are listed, featuring well-known talents like Shioya Yoku, Horikawa Ryo, Okiya wa Yu Ryotaro, and Yamaguchi Kappei, whose past credits in popular anime and games are highlighted, confirming a strong cast across the board. The big question on everyone's mind is the release date, posed prominently on the page. While not giving a firm date, it speculates the game might hit around summer vacation, adding to the growing anticipation. Friends prize goods are confirmed for release in arcades from May to June. Players can look forward to winning items like character mugs, figures, and keychains, further building the game's presence before launch. Finally, the page teases the game's presentation with full-spec motion, described as high-resolution animation designed to convey character emotions effectively. An image demonstrating this dynamic animation style is shown, indicating development is proceeding smoothly. It seems Friends is shaping up to be a title worth watching out for, combining a talented voice cast, engaging characters, and high-quality visuals. This page is a special report on the upcoming Dungeon Master Nexus for the SEGA Saturn. The striking illustration of the muscular character Hulk wielding a sword immediately sets the tone for this classic dungeon crawler. The text delves into the game's core mechanics, describing it as a simulation of survival life within the dungeon. It emphasizes the harsh reality. Monsters attack regardless of your party's state, torches burn out leaving you in darkness, carrying too much weight exhausts your stamina, and hunger and thirst are constant threats. This relentless real-time system, which doesn't pause unless you actively step away, combined with the scarcity of items, creates a unique sense of tension unlike simple level-up focused RPGs. The report highlights the high degree of freedom players have, noting you can interact with the environment and even use non-weapon items creatively, like throwing a heavy rock at an enemy for damage, though not as effectively as a proper weapon. It also touches upon the persistence of objects and even fallen companions' corpses, adding to the tangible feel of the world. The author's hope is that readers get a sense of this distinctive life feeling the game provides. Screenshots show glimpses of the first-person dungeon view, combat encounters, and character portraits. The game is listed as a real-time RPG from Victor/Victorsoft, scheduled for release on March 26th, priced at 8,800 yen, and recommended for all ages. This page focuses on the main screen interface and key gameplay systems in Dungeon Master Nexus. It breaks down the primary visual elements players will interact with constantly, including character status displays showing health, stamina, mana, and equipped items, a top-down view illustrating party formation, a mini-map for navigation, a hand pointer for interacting with the environment, and combat indicators. The page emphasizes the versatility of the hand pointer, explaining how it's used to search areas, manipulate objects, and pick up items in the first-person dungeon view, highlighting the interactive nature of the world. The inventory screen is presented as the dedicated area for managing your party's gear and character information. A significant point is the introduction of the ring menu system, a new design specifically for the Saturn version that replaces the original mouse-based interface. This system allows players to quickly select various commands and menu options using directional inputs, aiming for more fluid control on the console. A highlighted column discusses the synergy between the ring menu and the Marucon controller, suggesting it provides a nuanced and potentially superior feel for precise input compared to a standard pad, making item and action selection more intuitive and faster. This page delves into the character and stat systems of Dungeon Master Nexus. It introduces the concept of the player character as a successor inheriting the will of Celeron, who must venture into the dungeon with heroes sleeping in the Hall of Heroes. These are described as 18 spirits, sealed in crystals, lacking a past but facing a challenging future. 2 potential party members are highlighted. Histessa, a mysterious reptile warrior with strong combat ability, fire resistance, and magic knowledge. And Tika, a human woman whose strength lies not in physical combat, but in her potential for wisdom and magic, making her an ideal support character. The core party selection takes place in the Hall of Heroes, immediately after starting the game. Players choose from a pool of 18 mighty ones, who initially lack names, equipment, or detailed backstories, forcing the player to forge their own connection as they overcome trials together. 16 of these potential party members are shown with portraits.
The page also details the game's character statistics.
There are 6 main parameters:
strength for physical power and handling heavy gear, dexterity for agility, hit rate, and dodging, wisdom for spell effectiveness and mana recovery, vitality for HP and damage recovery, anti-magic for resistance to magic attacks, and anti-fire for resistance to fire damage. Other crucial stats include health, HP, stamina, used for actions like attacking and running, and mana, used for spells. The page tantalizingly mentions hidden parameters as well. Dungeon Master Nexus focuses on combat, magic, and environmental awareness. Combat involves direct attacks with weapons, utilizing a recovery period, and attack gauges that increase damage. Magic offers offensive and utility spells, cast by navigating menus to combine elements, forms, classes, and alignments. Senses are crucial, especially sound, for detecting traps and hidden mechanisms. The game utilizes a unique ability progression system tied to class-based actions. Fighters advance by dealing/receiving damage and using weapons, ninjas by ranged attack/throwing items, priests by healing/curing, and wizards by casting attack/wizard spells. These actions increase stats, strength, dexterity, wisdom, and vitality, tied to each class, offering a natural character growth. This page showcases the SEGA Saturn release of Nobunaga's Ambition, Sengoku Gunyuden, a historical simulation game set in Japan's Warring States period. It's presented as a revival of the third entry in the long-running Nobunaga's Ambition series. The game challenges players to unify Japan by selecting and directing up to 4 regional lords, utilizing internal affairs, diplomacy, and military commands to achieve victory. The page touches upon key game mechanics, including managing daimyo parameters, the importance of annual tribute derived from land yield and citizen loyalty, basic internal affairs commands like developing land and towns, and strategies for profiting from the rice market. Screenshots display character portraits of historical figures and in-game interfaces, showing various stats and command options. The game features around 400 Sengoku warlords vying for control. A special report highlights the game's completion at 100%, identifies the developer as Koei, and provides release details for April 2, 1998, pricing it at 5,800 yen as an SLG title targeting all ages. It emphasizes the game's status as a flagship Koei series, alongside Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Nobunaga's Ambition scenarios offer distinct challenges. Scenario 1, Contest of the Sengoku Daimyo, 1560, features 27 daimyo vying for power. Strategic play is key, with advantages for Takeda, Usugi, and Mori, but victory is open to all. Avoid early border conflicts, and dismiss defeated officers to prioritize loyal allies. Key players include Oda Nobunaga, Nagasokabe Motochika, and others. Scenario 2, Nobunaga's Ambition, 1582, focuses on Oda Nobunaga's dominance. Only 10 daimyo remain, with Mori, Nagasokabe,
Uesugi, Hojo, and Takeda posing the primary threats.
Oda's secure inner territories give him a strong position.
Success hinges on coordinated attacks and targeting the enemy's food supply.
Key figures in this scenario include Mori Terumoto and Tokugawa Ieyasu.
This page features a special report on the House of the Dead for the Sega Saturn, highlighting its visibly increasing completion level. The game is set for release on March 26th at a price of 5,800 yen and supports two-player simultaneous gun shooting action. The focus here is on Stage 3, titled Truth.
Following the defeat of the Hanged Man, players return to the mansion and enter a research facility filled with powerful zombies. Successfully navigating this area leads to the appearance of Dr. Kurian himself. The report includes a comparison check between the arcade and Saturn versions, showcasing how different scenes from Stage 3 are recreated. Screenshots illustrate areas like the factory, guard room, and a scene involving a trapped researcher in a cage. The article notes that the scenes, including the moment glass shatters and the presence of specific zombies, are beautifully and solidly recreated on the Saturn version, even down to finer details. The factory scene with zombies descending via cranes is also confirmed to be well implemented on the Saturn. Gameplay elements like shooting cage switches to save researchers are mentioned, highlighting their importance in Stage 3 due to fewer health recovery opportunities. The article confirms the Saturn port faithfully captures the atmosphere and action of the arcade original for this stage. This page continues the special report on the House of the Dead, delving deeper into the horrors of Stage 3. Featured prominently is the Stage 3 boss, the Hermit, a massive spider-like creature with multiple eyes. The description notes its defensive tactics, guarding its head, and attacking with webs, while its long legs make targeting difficult. The Saturn version's recreation of this battle is highly praised for its accuracy compared to the arcade. The report also highlights specific scenes within Stage 3. Before the Duct presents a critical moment where saving a trapped researcher dictates the player's path. The research room offers a different atmosphere from the previous factory area, filled with powered-up zombies that require quick reloading and careful play. An elevator sequence here is highlighted as a cool touch. The section on Dr. Kurian details his appearance just before the boss fight as the apparent mastermind behind the events. Additionally, various enemies are introduced. Parlor, described as an evolved, more complete form of the Drake enemy, wielding a potent laser knife. Burner, who uses a burner and avoids flammable areas, suggesting a specific weak point. And Harris, a powerful zombie swinging a wrecking ball, posing a significant threat that requires aiming for the hand or head due to the ball's defense. Four-way. The overall impression is that Stage 3 on the Saturn is a faithful and challenging recreation of the arcade experience, full of distinct enemies and pivotal moments. This page features a special report on Waku Waku Puyo Puyo Dungeon, an unexpected RPG entry in the popular Puyo Puyo series. The report dives into the game's setting, which is a mysterious theme park attraction. The core objective highlighted is collecting the three colored orbs. Screenshots showcase the game's perspective and interface, revealing typical RPG elements like HP and MP bars, character sprites exploring dungeons, and turn-based or command-based combat. The article explains that after completing the initial Waku Waku course, which is suitable for beginners, players discover a hidden, more challenging area known as the Doki Doki course, accessible only after obtaining the key 3 orbs. This suggests a progressive difficulty and hidden content. Characters familiar from the Puyo Puyo universe, such as Arcel and Rulyu, are prominently featured, confirming their roles in this new adventure. The report notes that the game was 75% complete at the time of the preview. It's classified as an RPG developed by Compile, single-player only, and recommended for all ages. This page dives deeper into Waku Waku Puyo Puyo Dungeon, guiding us through the Starlight stage. This area is designed as a maze-like attraction, themed around light and sound, featuring narrow corridors and a layout that feels somewhat disorienting. The path to items often requires backtracking, and the stage is filled with irritating visual and auditory traps that can inflict status effects like confusion or blackout, making recovery items essential. The article introduces some of the enemies found here, including the stunning Kipuyo, the ranged tiny archer Achan, less dangerous here due to the level design, the thunderfish Kaminari Uo, with its wide-area electric attack, and Spectre, a troublesome monster that wastes the player's items and can pass through walls. The page also highlights that not all creatures in the labyrinth are hostile.
Some can be talked to, and won't attack unless provoked. Screenshots display the dungeon environment, character sprites, and battle scenarios, giving a clear picture of the gameplay within this challenging stage. The Doki Doki course in Waku Waku Puyo Puyo Dungeon presents a substantial challenge, requiring players to level up significantly. This course features tougher, upgraded enemies like the Flying Honeybee, Digging Samurai Mole, Erratic Will-O-Wisp, and the item-stealing Scylla. Traps, such as the Immobilizing Mouse Trap and the status-affecting Weight Scale Trap, further complicate gameplay. Schizo comments on the dungeon's shifting nature, hinting at a personal objective. Survival hinges on using Rulyu's Cleanse ability and healing magic to counter the many status effects. Screenshots illustrate the dungeon's design, enemies, and combat, showcasing the challenges of the Doki Doki course. This page continues the coverage of Waku Waku Puyo Puyo Dungeon, serving as an information hub for the game. It delves into key aspects beyond the dungeon structure discussed previously. The main focus is on overcoming the game's challenges. There's a section dedicated to the boss characters, highlighting that each attraction, dungeon area, has unique, powerful bosses guarding certain floors. Defeating these bosses is crucial, as it expels them from the attraction. The page also features a item identification lecture, explaining how players can use a special identification magic circle found in dungeons to reveal the names and effects of unknown items they pick up. Furthermore, the page introduces several specific usable items in a goods guide, illustrating items like grasses and scrolls that offer various effects, such as healing, confusing enemies, allowing movement through walls, or summoning monsters. Finally, a developer's diary entry discusses the origins of some characters appearing in the game, noting their past appearances in previous titles, particularly within the Madu Monogatari universe, on platforms like PC-98 and other systems. Screenshots showcase boss encounters, item menus, and character dialogue. This page provides an in-depth preview of SEGA Worldwide Soccer 98 just before its release. It highlights the game's significant evolution, with support for the multi-controller and, notably, X-Band Online Play, a first for a soccer game on the platform. The game system is touted as refined, offering realistic action built upon the popular series' foundation. Key features discussed include enhanced gameplay, with command inputs allowing for flashy moves like dashes, feints, and heel lifts. The replay function is detailed, providing video-like controls such as rewind, fast-forward, zoom, and rotation, allowing players to meticulously review their performance from various angles. The tactical depth is also emphasized, with options like counterattack and various formations available. A major new addition is the inclusion of 5 distinct stadiums, ranging in size, adding variety to the match environments. The page showcases screenshots of the refined gameplay, the online, friendly net mode, the tactical selection screen, and the stadium selection interface. The integration of X-Band promises exciting matches against other fans nationwide, complete with a ranking system. Furthermore, support for analog controllers is a welcome addition, enabling smoother player movement. This looks to be a solid step forward for the series. The next page introduces the 8 main game modes available in SEGA Worldwide Soccer 98. It covers everything from the prestigious International Worldwide Cup, where national teams battle through qualifiers to become world champions, to simpler modes like International Friendly Match for quick games against a friend, or the CPU. The game offers comprehensive options for competition, including the International Cup Tournament for knockout challenges, and the Club League, featuring 60 club teams from 3 countries for a full season experience. For players who want to hone specific skills, there's the International Penalty Shootout mode. A notable inclusion is the Player Edit mode, allowing players to customize names, adding a personal touch to the game. The page also briefly touches on the game's options menu, where players can adjust various settings like difficulty, match time, and camera view to tailor the experience. Overall, it shows a robust selection of modes catering to different playstyles and preferences, building upon the core gameplay mechanics. This page is dedicated to Pro Baseball Greatest 998 on the SEGA Saturn, proudly boasting a 100% completion rate and promising to condense the full charm of professional baseball. It's set for release on March 19th for 5,800 yen, supporting 12 players, up to 4 for Home Run Derby, and recommended for all ages. The article highlights the game's realistic polygonal graphics and various play modes. A key feature is the lock-on system, which aims to recreate the intense pitcher-batter duel. The pitching system involves selecting the pitch type and general location,
then fine-tuning the aim during the motion. Batting requires selecting a zone, inside, outside, high, low, before the pitch, and timing the swing, with manual cursor adjustment needed if the pitch is outside the chosen zone. A particularly interesting mode is the player mode, where you experience the game from the perspective of a single player, participating in the pennant race. In this mode, you only control your character during their moments of action, like batting, and watch the rest of the game unfold, offering a unique way to enjoy the season. The game uses real player names and stadium data from 1998, officially recognized by the Japanese Baseball League, further enhancing its authenticity. Pro Baseball Greatest 998 boasts a wealth of gameplay modes. Open Match allows head-to-head play, calm versus calm, and spectating. Pennant Race puts players in charge of a full season, while Player Mode offers a single-player experience. Team Edit facilitates custom team creation, and Home Run Derby provides competitive slugfests. Options allows for display and audio customizations. Notably, the game features the OB Team mode, with original teams like Knights and Dynamites, comprised of legendary Japanese baseball players. The game emphasizes realism through accurate player representations, like Masakari Murata's pitching style. Screenshots showcase the game's menus, gameplay, stats, and results, highlighting its presentation. This page delves into Jake Hunter detective story. At the End of a Dream, a hard-boiled adventure game currently 90% complete with an undecided release date. The main story centers around Jake Hunter investigating the disappearance of Yuduki Nagata, a close friend of Yoko Miki, shortly after a previous case was solved. The narrative kicks off with Yoko requesting Jake investigate a suspicious person following Yuduki. The core gameplay mechanic requires deduction to progress through the story. Key characters introduced include the protagonist, Jake Hunter, his client's friend Yoko, and the client herself, Yuduki, a beautiful and talented university researcher who is being stalked. Beyond the investigation, Jake can visit his regular spot, Bar Kasumi, run by charming sisters. This serves as a place to relax and engage in mini-games like slots, blackjack, and a fast-paced card game called Joker Bet, offering a break from the serious detective work and providing bonuses for skillful play. Screenshots showcase character portraits for Jake, Yoko, Yuduki, and the Bar sisters, alongside various scenes from the game's narrative and minigames. This page continues the deep dive into Jake Hunter detective story, At the End of a Dream, focusing on the game's intriguing plot developments. It lays out a timeline of events, central to the investigation of Yuduki Nagata's disappearance, and the parallel serial case the police are handling. The narrative unfolds, starting with Jake Hunter being hired on April 14th to guard Yuduki, leading to the discovery of a suspicious man lurking outside her home. Concurrently, the police, including Detective Kumano and his partner Nokeda, are conducting their own investigation into a series of disappearances, interviewing eyewitnesses in Shibuya. The plot takes a dramatic turn on April 17th, when Yuduki's sister, Miki, contacts Jake and Yoko because Yuduki is missing. Jake and Yoko's visit to Yuduki's apartment intersects directly with the police investigation, revealing a potential link between Yuduki's case and the ongoing serial disappearances, raising the stakes significantly. Beyond the main mystery, the page highlights a bonus mode called Mystery Case File, offering lighter, puzzle-based content featuring different characters, like Kumano in a police jargon quiz, and Yoko tackling murder tricks. This provides a fun break from the main story's tension. The page also promotes the game's 10th anniversary campaigns with exciting prizes, including a special CD, limited phone cards, and even a Mini Cooper. This page introduces the Sega Saturn title, Denpa Shonen Teki na Game, a party game developed by Hudson. Based on the highly popular Japanese variety show, Susumu Denpa Shonen, this game brings the show's unique and often challenging segments to the console. Released on March 5th for 4,800 yen, the game is designed for group fun, supporting up to 7 players, and recommended for all ages. It features a collection of 10 distinct minigames inspired by various corners of the show, notably referencing the Invincible Salesman segment, where a talent had to perform sales challenges. The screenshots show pixel art representations of some of these minigames, including one that appears to involve climbing or vertical movement. The game emphasizes simple gameplay but promises exciting times with friends, especially with the inclusion of penalty games. This page continues the look at Denpa Shonen Teki na Game, detailing more of the 10 unique minigames and the extensive penalty system. The game features simple,
easy-to-learn mechanics suitable for party play. Shown here are glimpses of a whack-a-mole type game where players hit characters popping from holes, a fast-paced rock-paper-scissors game where the winner gets to hit the loser, and a carving game using tools to replicate a model under a time limit. The real draw is the penalty games, with over 100 types categorized into 5 difficulty levels, ranging from revealing personal details like the color of your underwear or recent pleasant experiences, to performing physical actions like sitting on the winner's lap. Despite being designed for groups, there's a slightly humorous, self-deprecating note about playing it alone. The game maintains the quirky, often challenging spirit of the source material.
This page features a strategy guide for Langrisser Dramatic Edition on the SEGA Saturn, a simulation RPG from Messiah, available now for 6,300 yen, and recommended for all ages. The page focuses on early to mid-game tactics, breaking down strategies for the first 2 episodes. Episode 1 is highlighted with artwork of Ledin and Chris, offering general advice like using Volkov defensively and targeting the enemy commander last. This section provides specific tactical tips for scenarios 1.1 through 1.4, covering initial movements, handling enemy groups, and utilizing specific characters like Name and Volkov for optimal efficiency and experience gain. Episode 2, featuring Elwyn and Liana, assumes Elwyn starts as a knight. The overall strategy emphasizes using certain characters like Scott defensively and minimizing NPC kills to maximize player character experience, aiming for rapid level UPS. Detailed strategies for scenarios 2.1 through 2.4 include ambushing enemies, gathering allied troops strategically, avoiding strong enemy units like leotards, and composing units based on enemy weaknesses, stressing the importance of character development for Liana and Scott. A special report notes the game's recent release and popularity, stating that the summary covers key strategy points for the initial battles. The crucial takeaway for success in these early to mid-game stages is leveling up the main characters and key party members. This guide provides strategies for Langrisser Dramatic Edition, specifically focusing on scenarios in 2 different paths or episodes. The first section covers scenarios 5 to 10, emphasizing unit placement, utilizing character-specific abilities, and prioritizing objectives like defeating specific enemies or holding strategic locations. Examples include focusing forces on Lyell in Scenario 5, using Chris's Valkyries in Scenario 6, and rushing to defeat Zaldar in Scenario 8. The second section, also detailing Scenarios 5 to 9, suggests a different approach. It highlights the use of Rihanna's Turn Undead spell, defending Camilla, forming defensive walls, and luring enemy reinforcements. Tactics include leveling up key characters, targeting enemy commanders, and using units like werewolves and phalanx. Both sets of scenarios underscore the critical need for strategic unit deployment, exploiting character advantages, and managing experience to overcome challenging battles. Passion Langrisser Volume 5 celebrates the release of Langrisser I and II, Dramatic Edition, soliciting player feedback. The issue introduces Welcome Supporting Characters, with an interview of Bozel, the Prince of Darkness, who discusses his role and ambitions. It also reminisces about a humorous bug in Langrisser I on the PC Engine. Coverage of the Megakin network on Satamaga. Event Snowy Outing, Part 2, details the challenges faced, including a late-night recording session. The issue features fan art of Shell Faniel from Langrisser IV, and concludes by requesting fan submissions of art, messages, game impressions, and scenario ideas, providing submission details. Copyright is held by CareerSoft, with Production Baobab's cooperation. This page announces the first part of the SEGA Saturn Magazine Grand Prix 1997 results. The voting period ran from December 1, 1996 to December 18, 1997, and readers cast a substantial 18,596 valid votes. As the text emphasizes, the results presented here are entirely determined by reader feedback, reflecting the community's favorite titles and achievements across approximately 400 eligible games released during that time. This issue reveals the winners in 11 distinct categories. The awards being announced cover a wide range of aspects, including Best Graphics, Best Music, Best Scenario, and Best Port. Individual contributions are recognized with awards for Best Leading Actress and Best Leading Actor, as well as Best Supporting Character. There's also an award for Best Package Art. Finally, specific game genres are highlighted with awards for Action Game, Fighting Game, and Adventure Game of the Year. The page features a large, gleaming trophy surrounded by clocks, symbolizing the prestigious nature of the Grand Prix and the culmination of the year's voting.
This page reveals the winners of the Best Graphics and Best Music Awards from the 1997 Grand Prix. Sweeping both categories is Grandia, recognized for its detailed 3D graphics, high-quality movie sequences, and beautiful character art, all contributing to a visually stunning experience that blended fantasy and realism. The game's music also earned top honors, praised for its ambitious orchestral score, significant production value, and its success in enhancing crucial moments throughout the game. Runners-up in graphics included Devil Summoners, Soul Hackers, noted for its smoothly integrated movies, and Dead or Alive, highlighted for its impressive character modeling. For music, Real Sound Kaze No Regret took second place, with its unique and successful attempt to create a game entirely through sound. Devil Summoner,
Soul Hackers also featured prominently, securing third place for its distinctive and atmospheric soundtrack. Commentary on the results notes a shift in the types of games topping the charts, moving towards scenario-driven RPGs and adventures, where music plays a more crucial role in storytelling and atmosphere than just background accompaniment.
This page continues the SEGA Saturn Magazine Grand Prix 97 Awards, focusing on the Best Scenario and Best Port categories. First up is the Best Scenario Award, where Grandia takes the top spot. Following its wins in graphics and music, Grandia's scenario is praised for its ambitious, epic story that balances adventure, humor, and emotional depth, alongside its positive worldview and the engaging dialogue between characters. The table shows a strong list of story-driven games, including Even Burst Error and Uno, highlighting the trend towards adventure and RPG genres in the top ranks this year. Next, we have the Best Port Award, won by X-Men vs. Street Fighter. Capcom's Fighter is lauded for achieving a near-perfect arcade conversion on the Saturn, a significant improvement from previous fighting game ports. The commentary specifically mentions the crucial role of the 4 MB RAM expansion cartridge in overcoming technical limitations and delivering an experience almost identical to the arcade. Dead or Alive and Atelier Marie also feature highly in this category. Commentary emphasizes the Sega Saturn's reputation as the premier console for arcade-perfect fighting game ports, a trend that continued strongly in 1997. This page continues the SEGA Saturn Magazine Grand Prix 97 Awards, celebrating the best characters. First up is the Best Main Female Character Award, won by Fina from Grandia. She's shown alongside the award trophy and is praised as a lively, modern heroine. The director comments on her design philosophy, aiming for someone relatable, like a senior club member, and is pleased with how well her realistic yet cool persona resonated with players. The rankings show a trend toward strong, capable female leads, with characters like Marina from Eve Burst Error and Nemissa from Devil Summoners. Soul Hackers also ranking highly. Following that is the Best Main Male Character Award, taken by Justin, also from Grandia. His image and the award are shown. Justin is described as a passionate young adventurer, the classic protagonist type, but highly relatable. The director notes that Grandia focused on strongly developing his personality, which helped players connect with his journey. The rankings include popular male leads, such as Kojiro from Even Burst Error, and Sonic from Sonic Hurrah. A small note highlights the top pairings in the male and female categories from the same games, and humorously speculates on why Jackie Chan didn't rank higher. This page continues the SEGA Saturn Magazine Grand Prix 97 Awards, first presenting the Best Supporting Character Award. Taking the top spot is Spooky from Devil Summoners, Soul Hackers. Shown with his award and an illustration, Spooky is described as a reliable, Columbo-like leader whose presence was vital to the game. The director from Atlas expressed pleasant surprise at the win, noting Spooky's popularity and the development goal of making all characters feel important. The rankings showcase a diverse group, including Sue from Grandia and Tails from Sonic SAR, highlighting how this new category shined a light on memorable non-main characters, even featuring figures like the zombie from Resident Evil. Next is the Best Package Art Award, won by Real Sound, Kaze No Regret. The minimalist package, featuring clouds and the title, is displayed alongside the game's director, Kenji Ino of Warp. Ino, who designed all of Warp's packaging, was delighted with the win, discussing the concept of emptiness in the design, and the successful attempt to create a 3D feel on the physical cover. The package was even notable enough to be featured on the magazine's cover previously. Other highly ranked package designs included the cool, poster-like art for Dead or Alive and the stylish, unique packaging for Enemy Zero. This page presents the winners for the Action Game Award and the Fighting Action Game Award. The top spot for the Action Game Award goes to Silhouette Mirage by Treasure. The description highlights its unique action mechanics and challenging gameplay, noting it was packed with ideas. The game's director, Kimura-san, expressed his deep gratitude, feeling honored that his work was recognized and pleased that the game integrated 8-bit and 16-bit sensibilities with new 3D elements. Other highly ranked action games included Sonic Jam and Dynamite Dika. A side note celebrates the revival of Sonic, mentioning his success on Saturn with games like Sonic Jam and Burning Rangers. For the Fighting Action Game Award, the winner is Dead or Alive from Tecmo. Despite initial doubts about exceeding the success of the Virtua Fighter series in 3Ds, the game introduced new approaches like the hold system, and successfully brought its arcade experience to Saturn with added original elements. Director Itagaki-san was particularly pleased with the award, recognizing both 2D and 3D games, feeling proud that Dead or Alive could stand alongside arcade titles. The ranking saw strong competition from X-Men vs. Street Fighter and Fighters Megamix. A panel notes the significance of a third-party game like Dead or Alive taking the top spot, signaling a shift in the fighting genre's dominance on the platform. This page reveals the winner of the Adventure Game Award in the SEGA Saturn Magazine Grand Prix 97. The top spot is awarded to Even Burst Error by Seizeware and Imagineer. Despite some content changes from its PC counterpart, the magazine praises its excellent scenario, declaring it a standout title. Mr. Ueno Kiyotaka from Imagineer accepts the award, expressing gratitude for the recognition in this genre. The competition in the adventure category was fierce, with close voting among the top contenders. Enemy Zero from Warp secured second place, recognized for its intense horror and impressive visuals. Third place goes to the renowned Yuno, a girl who chants love at the bound of this world by Elf, highlighted for its complex multi-scenario system. The magazine notes that this was a strong year for adventure games, with the tight vote spread among the top entries, reflecting the quality and variety available. They also look ahead, anticipating releases like Sakura Wars 2 that could further boost the genre's popularity. Concluding the first part of the Grand Prix results, the page teases the upcoming announcements. Next week will feature awards for shooting, simulation RPG, sports, table, and puzzle games, culminating in the highly anticipated Best Overall Work Award, where only one game out of hundreds will take the ultimate prize. This page features a spread dedicated to the game Baroque by Sting/Especially. The layout combines several panels of artwork, including depictions of characters and abstract, surreal imagery, with columns of vertical Japanese text. The main text block appears to be a narrative or dialogue sequence from the game, presented in a dramatic fashion. Below this, a prominent section titled Previous Summary provides a synopsis of the game's plot up to this point. It describes a world that has begun to warp, the protagonist receiving a mysterious disc from a boy named Fumi and subsequently becoming lost. The summary details the protagonist following the character Suzume, meeting Ruby, and heading towards the headquarters of a mysterious cult known as Malkuth. It also mentions a character named Kitsune, who communicates via email. The page serves as a recap for readers following the serialization or feature on this distinctive and atmospheric game. This page continues the deep dive into the unique world of Baroque by Sting, Especially, presented as Volume 13 of the Baroque Syndrome, Baroque Filled-Up Pointing Triangle Prequel Serialization, subtitled The Dancing Sickness, Its Melody. The content is primarily a narrative, seemingly recounting events from the protagonist's perspective as they delve deeper into the mysteries surrounding the Neuro Tower, a central location in the game. The text describes the protagonist's entry into the dark, twisted interior of the tower and interactions with key characters like Ruby and Suzume. Dialogue explores themes of memory, identity, trials orchestrated by the entity known as Malkuth, and the enigmatic dancing sickness, or the tarantella's melody. The page captures the game's surreal and psychological atmosphere through its narrative style and accompanying abstract artwork, rather than using in-game screenshots. A small section at the bottom explains that this serialization provides backstory and is told from the protagonist's point of view, confirming the feature's focus on immersing the reader in the game's distinct narrative and lore ahead of its release. This page focuses on the popular anime series Revolutionary Girl Utena, showcasing both merchandise and its adaptation for the SEGA Saturn. Sega Hobby presents a line of character figures, including painted real model series figures of Utena Tenjo and Anthy Himamiya that come with voice crids, and Sharedoll Selection plush dolls. Headlining the page is the SEGA Saturn game, Revolutionary Girl Utena, Someday Be Revolutionized. This is described as an original story adventure game, bringing the unique world of Utena to the console. Screenshots show character portraits and dialogue sequences typical of the adventure genre. Notably, the Saturn version introduces a new character, Chiho Sanjoin, expanding the game's narrative. The game is scheduled for release in the spring and is priced at 6,800 yen on 2 Caredroms. This page is the reader submissions section, humorously titled Letters Park, and aiming to crown the submission king. It features various comments and illustrations from readers across Japan. The feedback covers a range of topics, from mundane daily life like late-night bowling sessions and school days, to more magazine-specific content. Readers comment on topics like receiving free crids with the magazine, experiencing surprising events, dreaming of being a specific character, and playing simulation games. There's even a comment about the previous page's subject matter, mentioning someone's favorite character resembling a certain figure from Evangelion, and complimenting the magazine's editor. Another reader talks about submitting comments and being told to aim for the submission king, while someone else expresses fondness for the worldview presented in a game like Black Matrix. Accompanying the letters are various reader-submitted illustrations, featuring characters in different styles, including a humorous take on characters, or possibly magazine mascots. One section previews a serialized story or comic titled Benjamin's Life and Death, ending on a cliffhanger and teasing the next installment. Overall, it's a lively section showcasing the direct interaction and engagement between the magazine and its readership, offering a snapshot of their interests and daily lives, often tinged with gaming culture references. This page continues the reader submission section, filled with letters and 4-panel comic strips from dedicated readers. One prominent section, titled Love Squared, features heartfelt messages, including one expressing intense affection for the character Nemissa from Devil Summoner, Soul Hackers, highlighting her captivating qualities. Another section, labeled, quote, delves into the diverse world of gamers, with letters discussing shared gaming experiences with family members, like playing alongside grandparents or siblings, and reflecting on what it means to be a gamer. Games such as Virtua Fighter 3 and Death Crimson are referenced in these discussions. The page is also punctuated by reader-submitted 4-coma manga comics, offering lighthearted takes on gaming life and characters, including one strip specifically mentioning the game Death Crimson. These submissions collectively showcase the vibrant connection between the magazine and its readership, reflecting their personal lives intertwined with their passion for games. This page continues the engaging reader submission section, showcasing the magazine's direct connection with its audience. The primary focus is split between 2 main reader corners. One corner, titled, I Hate Things Like This, features various submissions from readers expressing their dislikes or pet peeves, often with a humorous or quirky twist. Examples range from fictional scenarios involving characters like Sagata Senshiro or being turned into a shocker member, to game-related frustrations, like specific shooting game mechanics or character archetypes. Readers also share relatable annoyances, like confusing point systems or daily tasks. The second prominent section is Higashi Kana's Boys-Only After-School Club Heart, which, despite its intriguing title, is explicitly described as a submission corner just for girls. Here, readers share personal stories and thoughts. Submissions mention specific games like Angelique Duet, with readers expressing affection for characters such as Kana and Oscar. There are also anecdotes about daily life and travel experiences. A smaller panel discusses the magazine's Reader Point voucher system, accompanied by humorous 4-panel manga strips illustrating reader interactions with it. Another panel lists the various reader corners currently accepting submissions, including themes like sharing daily events, illustrations, confessions, shopping stories, manga, and the popular Love Squared corner for expressing passionate feelings about characters in games, which connects back to the previous page. These sections collectively highlight the diverse interests and active participation of the magazine's readership. This page continues the magazine's reader-submitted gallery, featuring a variety of fan art and themed collections. We see lovely illustrations for games like Grandia, featuring protagonists Justin and Sue, and characters from the dating sim series Yukyu Gensokyoku. The standout piece is a massive, large group battle submission, declared the king, with an impressive 88 characters drawn from various games across different genres, a true crossover spectacle. Other theme submissions include a detailed collection of 50 different mobile suit heads from the Gundam universe, and a spirited array of 65 characters spanning Capcom and SNK fighting games and other titles. The contributors expressed their dedication and friendly rivalry through their comments. The magazine announces the themes for the next gallery will be Azel, likely referring to Panzer Dragoon Saga, and the broader theme of Town. Information for submitting art is also included, detailing the rules and the magazine's point system, where readers earn points for submissions that can be exchanged for prizes like book vouchers or SEGA Saturn software.
This page features a selection of game-related comic books published by SoftBank, highlighting two distinct series. First up is the 4-panel DX series, showcasing new releases based on massively popular games. The first title is The Pocket Monsters 4-Panel DX, drawing from the smash hit Game Boy RPG that started it all, featuring a hilarious take on the world by a team of talented artists, including an illustration that looks very much like Red, Blue, and Charizard. The second book in this series, also highlighted, is the Tushinden 4-Panel DX, which offers a comical, deformed view of the characters and world from the popular PlayStation fighting game, crafted by another impressive lineup of creators. Both are priced at 728 yen and are 136 pages long. Below this, the page presents titles from the Super Game Anthology comic series. This series dives deeper into various popular game franchises, featuring comics and illustrations by official artists and other contributors. We see books covering the 3D fighting series Tushin Titan, including both the original and Tushin Titan 2. There's also an anthology for Super Real Mahjong PV Paradise, focusing on the game's roster of lovely characters. Fighting game fans will be excited to see books based on Power Instinct 2 and the classic Darkstalkers Revenge, filled with all-new artwork and comics. These anthologies range in price from 854 yen to 1,068 yen, and are typically over 200 pages, offering a wealth of visual content for fans of these titles. This page is all about J.League Pro Soccer Club Otsukuru 2, a deep football management simulation on the SEGA Saturn. It serves as a comprehensive guide and report for players tackling the game. First up is a how-to guide, focused entirely on player development, detailing how to nurture talent for different positions like strikers, dribblers, and defenders, by highlighting essential skills and training methods. It emphasizes focusing training based on player roles and reacting to coach feedback. There's also a queue and a section where common player questions are answered, covering topics from what influences player ranking and the benefits gained from winning matches. The most engaging part is the Satamaga Club Growth Diary, chronicling the challenging second year of the magazine's own in-game club. It highlights significant struggles, including player dissatisfaction leading to departures and poor results in tournaments, painting a picture of a club facing a serious crisis. This section provides a relatable look at the difficulties of managing a football club in the game. Lists of player stats and tournament results are included to support the diary entries. This page features a club diagnosis service for players of J.League Pro Soccer Club Otsukuru, provided by the SEGA development team. It analyzes the reader's submitted club, Mejiro Ijima, in detail. The analysis covers each line: goalkeeper, defense, midfield, and forward, highlighting strengths and weaknesses. The defensive line, anchored by players like Puffbalt and Nanyun, is noted as strong, especially with the suggested addition of a third defender. The forward line has promise with young talent like Kawago. However, the main concern identified is the aging midfield, with key players like Veteran and Bismarck reaching advanced ages, posing a stamina risk and future challenge. A treatment prescription section offers advice, emphasizing the need for urgent youth development to replace the aging midfield and planning for the future structure of the team. It suggests strategically using both veterans and young players in matches. The page also announces opportunities for readers to participate. You can submit your own club data for diagnoses by the developers. Furthermore, recruitment is open for the first Satamaga Cup, a tournament for readers' clubs divided into 10th year and 20th year divisions, allowing players to test their managerial skills against others. Finally, a new reader corner, Viva Saskatsuku Ku, is launching to collect fan feedback, stories about their love for the game, and ideas for potential future installments. Screenshots show the team formation screen and the password entry interface. This page features a chapter from a SEGA Saturn magazine novel based on the shoot-'em-up game Sokyu Gurentai, developed by Racializing. The large title reads, Sokyu Gurentai, and the chapter is titled, The Agitation of the Dead, marking the 23rd installment and hinting at the dramatic final chapter before the conclusion of the bloody battle with Yumi Hachiman. The text describes the Sokyu Gurentai as a private security force, also known as JDF, operating under the space launch contractor Jinsei Company Limited. They undertake dangerous tasks and riot suppression. The story follows an SF drama centered around 3 pilots from this group, Kaoru Yashida and Rika Kunimura, among others. A summary of previous events details an attack on Jinsei HQ, revealing the antagonist Yumi Hachiman and his ties to a former Jinsei technician named Tatsushima. The narrative recounts an earlier struggle against a Yumi Hachiman machine, ultimately defeated, and the subsequent discovery of Yumi Hachiman's Mars development efforts. The story leads to a confrontation with Yumi Hachiman himself, now enhanced with new technology, setting the stage for the current chapter's battle. The original work is credited to Racializing, with the novel written by Yuichi Ishida. The page also includes the Racializing logo. This page continues the gripping battle from the Sokyu Gurentai novelization. The player's machine, Shikyo, is overwhelmed by attacking flares, blinding Mikatsuki, and jamming sensors, while Tatsushima's Yumi Hachiman machine locks on. Mikatsuki urges Shikyo to endure, but a laser pierces the machine, sending it into a rapid descent. Tatsushima, piloting the Yumi Hachiman machine, is confident, maneuvering into the sand dunes and boasting about his knowledge of Jinsei's NALS system, which he claims is useless at close range. He fires a laser, disabling Shikyo's right wing. As the damaged Shikyo falls, the Yumi Hachiman machine follows, seemingly victorious. However, just as Tatsushima anticipates sealing the fate of the advanced Ryugeki machine, which the Yumi Hachiman machine was based on, a series of powerful impacts rock the Yumi Hachiman machine. These shockwaves cause internal damage and distort Tatsushima's senses, leading to terrifying sensory deprivation as the machine is buried in the sand. The page concludes with character introductions for key figures in the story. Kaoru Yashida, a squad leader dealing with the reality of the Yumi Hachiman machine. Rika Kunimura, the initial witness to the machine and a central figure in the incident. Ryota Zen, a pilot who underestimated the threat. And Kan Omori, an environmental terrorist involved in the plot.
This page continues the SEGA Saturn magazine novelization, picking up immediately after the crash. Tatsushima experiences a disturbing mental intrusion, a vivid memory or vision that isn't his own, featuring the environmental terrorist Kan Omori, and hinting at a loss of control over his cybernetic systems. The narrative perspective then shifts to Kaoru Yashida, who confirms the safety of Ryota Zen following the intense battle. Yashida observes Tatsushima's buried Yumi Hachiman machine, now referred to as the Pengya, noting that it survived the crash largely intact, buffered by the sand. Just as the immediate tension seems to subside, a mysterious pillar of sand erupts from the ground, signaling that the conflict is far from over. The page is accompanied by striking character illustrations of key figures, including Yashida, Ryota, Rika Kunimura, and potentially Kan Omori, bringing the dramatic events to life. This page continues the dramatic narrative, detailing the aftermath of the previous page's events. The Yumi Hachiman mech, now identified as potentially controlled by Kan Omori, attacks the ruined plant, engaging in strange dialogue hinting at corporate conflict and a paradigm shift for combat systems. Yashida attempts to intervene with his Ryuryu mech, but an electronic voice, possibly Omori, prevents him. The narrative climaxes as the Yumi Hachiman penetrates the plant, triggering a massive explosion that consumes the facility and turns the Martian sky yellow. The text states this explosion freed the souls trapped within the steel system, bringing this chapter of the intense conflict from the Sokyu Gurentai universe to a close, marked for continuation. The page also features a message from Racializing section, offering developer insight. It discusses characters like Yashida and Kunimura, whose cybernetic modifications are framed as improvements for corporate efficiency rather than personal fulfillment, contrasting with Mikazuki's potential happiness simply from striving to be an ace pilot. A final message from Kenichi Yoku. Thanks readers and supporters of Sokyu Gurentai. This page showcases the first entry in the Satamaga MOOC series, a strategy guide for the SEGA Saturn fighting game, Cyberbots: Full Metal Madness. Presented by SEGA Saturn Magazine, This is described as an unprecedented guide created by a veteran 2D fighting game writer who spent over 3 months developing its content. The book offers comprehensive coverage for both player versus player and player versus CPU battles, packed with extensive data. It boasts detailed guides on executing impressive combos, covering everything from basic techniques to advanced strategies, ensuring players can master the game's mechanics. A major highlight for fans is the inclusion of brand new illustrations drawn by the game's developers at Capcom, alongside never-before-seen production materials. The guide is published by SoftBank, presented in a 5 size with 160 pages, and is currently available for purchase at a list price of 1,500 yen. It's positioned as a must-have item for fans of Cyberbots and its mecha designs. This page features 2 columns and some brief notes. The top column, titled A Fresh Start by Fumio Kurokawa, covers recent news from SEGA, including the announcement of a successor console to the SEGA Saturn and a change in the company's management structure, signaling a renewed direction for the organization. The author reflects on effective communication and mutual trust within a company, particularly concerning publicity efforts. A small note indicates the sales figures difference between the Saturn and PlayStation towards the end of the year, mentioning that many readers of this magazine likely already own a Saturn. The bottom column, Ikebukuro Sara's Virtua Crash, delves into the author's personal health issues, specifically severe back pain likely caused by a herniated disc, which limits his ability to stand or sit comfortably. He conveys his strong aversion to injections, even though he receives them for his back. This section also includes This Week's Yukun, featuring a child who, despite having cold symptoms, remains energetic and enjoys dancing. The author briefly touches upon his gaming habits, noting he hasn't played much recently, but has been enjoying the Saturn version of Resident Evil. He expresses anticipation for Resident Evil 2 and Soul Hackers, and poses the question of when the Saturn's successor console will be released.
This page features a humorous manga comic strip titled, Sega's Games Are the Best in the World, drawn by Samushin Yoshimatsu. The comic depicts anthropomorphic Sega Saturn consoles interacting with a young boy. The Saturn characters are concerned about attracting new, particularly younger, users. They discuss the popularity of Pokémon, which dominates the child demographic, and hatch a plan to connect a Game Boy to a Saturn to steal Pokémon data. However, this scheme quickly devolves into one of the Saturn characters simply imitating Pikachu, much to the confusion of the boy. The comic serves as a light-hearted commentary on the console market dynamics of the time, highlighting the immense popularity of Pokémon on the Game Boy and Sega's challenges in capturing that audience compared to Nintendo. The strip humorously shows Sega's efforts to compete, even resorting to bizarre tactics like trying to acquire data via link cable or simply mimicking the competitor's most famous character. This page showcases 2 upcoming game guides from SoftBank. The first, for the Sega Saturn version of Winter Heat, is an official guide covering all 11 events in depth, offering character-specific strategies, revealing hidden characters and tricks, and including extensive CG artwork and setting details. It's a full-color, A5 format guide spanning 80 pages, priced at 900 yen. Below that is the school guide for Capcom's anticipated arcade game, Rival Schools, United by Fate. This guide promises to thoroughly explain the game, featuring close-ups of characters and schools, providing detailed background information for fans, highlighting character profiles, and breaking down special moves and combos like the Burning Attack and 2-Platoon Attack system. It also includes interviews with the development staff. This guide is a more substantial A5 publication at 144 pages, with a tentative price of 1,300 yen and an estimated release in mid-March. Both publications are from SoftBank Publishing Business Division. This page features a guide to Tamagotchi Park on Sega Saturn, a raising simulation game where players nurture their virtual pet through various activities to win contests. The game is highlighted as being released by Bandai and includes a special Tamagotchi memory card. Success hinges on understanding how food affects the Tamagotchi's parameters, like hunger, weight, body condition, and mood. The guide details several mini-games crucial for raising the pet. These include Finish Your Lunch, where you manage feeding based on hunger and preference. Look This Way, HOI, a guessing game that boosts mood and affects weight. And Panel de Don, a wisdom-based panel selection game impacting weight and mood. Physical activities like Jumping Hurdles, which relies on body and speed stats, Cruising Star, an obstacle course affecting endurance and mood, and Race Ready Go,
A button-mashing race influenced by body, speed, and hunger for stamina are also covered. Winning these minigames improves stats and mood, preparing your Tamagotchi for the main contests. This page dives deeper into the data for Tamagotchi Park on SEGA Saturn, providing essential information to raise your virtual pet effectively for contests. It explains how to read the stat tables, covering speed and wisdom ratings, from 1 being poor to 4 being good, and food preferences for rice ball, meat, strawberry, salad, mushroom, and radish, from 0 being disliked to 4 being liked. 3 major tables are presented, detailing the stats and food likes for the original Tamagotchi, new species Tamagotchi, and Segachi characters. While the full data isn't reproduced here, these charts are crucial for understanding how different foods impact specific characters. The section highlights the vast number of characters available, stating there are over 80 different Tamagotchi you can raise, evolving from various egg types like the striped original eggs and the speckled new species eggs. It touches on the different forms characters can take, and notes that reaching certain conditions allows for evolution. The page then provides detailed profiles for several key original Tamagotchi characters across different life stages, from baby to adult. These profiles include specific stats like average lifespan, daily activity hours, parameter sign timing, sickness recovery time, injection count, and minimum weight. Understanding these details, such as Mamechi's high lifespan or Babichi's short one, is key to successful raising. It's clear the game offers a rich simulation experience with distinct characteristics for each virtual pet. This page continues the deep dive into Tamagotchi Park on SEGA Saturn, presenting detailed information on additional character types. The first section focuses on the new species Tamagotchi, noting there are 9 types during the egg stage, and that their rearing isn't controlled by commands in this game. It also mentions variations like Mimichi, white-pink, and Pachichi, gray-orange, but clarifies these differences are cosmetic and don't affect core abilities. We see profiles for several new species characters, including Shirubebichi, baby, Tonmaruchi and Tongarichi, Kodomo, and Hashizuochi, Mimichi, Pochichi, Sukechi, Kusachi, Takochi, and Sekitorichi, adult and hidden. These profiles detail their stats like lifespan, active hours, and minimum weight, following the format established on the previous page. The lower section introduces the Tenshichi, or Angel Tamagotchi. These characters appear after a Tamagotchi dies, and is properly recorded at the grave, sometimes randomly yielding an Obakechi, Ghost Tamagotchi, at the gravesite instead. The lore states the Tenshichi appear to thank the player for raising them. It also mentions the special Lucky Unshiman character, who appears under specific conditions not related to the grave. The page then provides profiles for the Tenshichi characters, showing their stats. We see profiles for Obakechi Wangao and Maruten, baby, Kodoten and Tateten, Kodomo, and Kuriten, Ginjiroten, Pukuten, Taraten, Oyahiten, and Futagotenshi, adult and hidden. These profiles include stats like activity time, max TP, hunger, effort, lifespan, and injection count, offering crucial data for raising these celestial pets. This guide explores Tamagotchi Park's hidden characters and unique Segachi. Detailed profiles are provided for hidden characters like Sabatenshi and Lucky Unkitchman, outlining stats and unlocking methods. The golden poop is identified as a crucial element for triggering events. The Segachi section focuses on characters from Sega games and sea creatures, emphasizing their unconventional evolution paths. Baby, Kodomo, adult, and hidden stages for characters like Kartrichi and Sonikuchi are examined. The final section guides players towards unlocking all characters and reaching the ending. Raising conditions, the history screen, and the importance of the golden poop are highlighted. The guide clarifies that character rarity within the lineage chart varies, with those on the right side of a level being more difficult to obtain, making unlocking every character the ultimate goal. This page delves into the tactical card game Arcana Strikes on the SEGA Saturn. It's a game focused on building decks, collecting cards, and engaging in strategic battles using a variety of cards including attack magic, monster summon cards, and support cards. The randomness of drawing cards emphasizes the crucial nature of thoughtful deck construction before battle. A particularly important card type highlighted is the capture card, which allows you to capture opponents' summoned monsters. Successfully captured monsters become yours if you win, making collecting cards and expanding your options a key objective. The article outlines different deck strategies. The attribute matching deck focuses on utilizing elemental strengths and weaknesses, such as Aqua, Gran, Air, and Fray, while also recommending balancing elements to handle opponents with different attributes. The monster capture deck strategy involves using capture cards to add enemy monsters to your collection. Two variants are discussed. One for capturing monsters around your level, and another for capturing significantly lower level monsters, 10 plus levels below. Screenshots illustrate the gameplay, showing battles and deck management screens, emphasizing the visual elements of summoning monsters and using cards. It's a game that rewards strategic deck building and careful use of card types like the essential capture cards. This page complements the information from the previous page by providing a glimpse into the vast array of creatures players can encounter and collect in Arcana Strikes. As highlighted before, monster cards are the most prevalent and crucial type in the game, and this list showcases the sheer variety available. The page presents a categorized list of monsters, seemingly divided by different types or affinities like Earthwall, Shinrei, Spirit, Knocker, and Border Wall, along with others potentially representing card rarity or class-like card major W. This list underscores the depth of the monster collection aspect, which is a core gameplay loop involving capturing opponents' summoned monsters. A small screenshot demonstrates the card get information screen, appearing after a successful capture. It shows the details of a newly acquired monster, Nandusen, including its class, Wanwan, stats, level, attack, defense, HP, agility, experience, and a skill, Flame Roofire. The text below confirms the acquisition, stating, "Obtained Nandoman." This visual reinforces the importance of the capture mechanic discussed previously, illustrating the reward of successfully adding a monster to your collection after battle. The comprehensive nature of the list suggests that mastering the game involves significant time dedicated to building a diverse monster roster. Beyond combat, the game offers diverse card acquisition methods. Players can buy and trade cards at shops and trading houses. Gran features a unique method with Wharf Manaf, accessed via a password. In and gear cards require specific playthrough milestones, increasing the game's replayability. In cards unlock in the second Air playthrough, and gear cards require Arcana cards acquired in the third playthroughs of Gran and Fray. The page details shop interfaces and monster stats. Extensive tables list purchasable cards by location, Aquaria, Gran, Inn, Gear, detailing availability, stock, and prices across various playthroughs. These tables are crucial for efficient collection, emphasizing the time needed to gather all cards. This guide outlines card acquisition through trading and obtaining rare cards. Trading occurs at the trading house, with NPCs like Nidus and Kendro offering exchanges. Nidus's trades and locations vary weekly. Kendro's trades are sequential. A table details these trades. Obtaining rare cards is the primary focus. 4 rare might cards are found in chests. The remaining 16 rare star cards are more involved. 12 are obtained from Wharf Manaf by using passwords. Others, including powerful cards like Yomi, Rumiere, and End, require reaching specific locations, often behind locked doors, which require specific items and cards. 1 rare star card, Hiroi Uji, is obtained through defeating it. A table provides detailed information on each rare star card, including associated staff members, attributes, and acquisition methods, and serves as a reference for completing a card collection. This page presents a reader questionnaire, a typical feature in magazines of this era, allowing readers to provide feedback and demographic information. It asks for standard details such as gender, age, and occupation. Readers are also asked about their SEGA Saturn software ownership, how many titles they possess, and which other computer game magazines they frequently read. The survey delves into the reader's engagement with the current issue, asking for opinions on the front cover and how often they typically submit these postcards. A key part requires readers to reference provided lists to identify the most and least interesting articles from this issue. Furthermore, it probes their future purchase intentions by asking which hardware from a diverse list, including consoles like Sega Saturn, PlayStation, Nintendo 64, and various peripherals, they plan to buy, and which software titles from an extensive list of games they intend to purchase. This kind of feedback is invaluable for understanding reader preferences and market trends. This page is an advertisement for a MOOC, a magazine book hybrid, dedicated to the game Eve the Lost One, published by SoftBank. This release is currently on sale for 1,280 yen, including tax. The major draw is that it includes a trial version Crundrum, allowing players to experience the prologue of the game. The artwork features several key characters from the visual novel series, including Kyoko Kirino prominently displayed, along with other main figures, setting the stage for the game's intriguing narrative. It's a great way for fans or potential players to get a taste of the Even universe and its characters before purchasing the full game. This page features an advertisement for model kits based on the popular arcade and SEGA Saturn game Virtualon Cybertroopers. The page has a dynamic background image of a Virtuoid, overlaid with the large red text, Totsugeki, which means charge or assault, perfectly capturing the game's fast-paced combat. Featured prominently are two 1/144th scale plastic model kits from Wave Corporation, the iconic Virtuoid Temjin, and the Agile Viper 2. Both models are priced at 600 yen before tax, offering an affordable way for fans to own a piece of the Virtuon universe. The Temjin model is noted as currently on sale, while the Viper 2 was released in the spring of 1998. This collaboration between Sega Enterprises, the game's publisher, and Wave Corporation, the model distributor and manufacturer, highlights the enduring popularity of Virtualon and its mecha designs, allowing players to bring the exciting Virtuoids from the screen to their collections as detailed models. This page is an advertisement for the Sega Saturn and PlayStation game, Tenant Wars, also known as Weiwei Kid, in some branding. This board game masterpiece was released simultaneously on both platforms on February 11, 1998, and is currently on sale to critical acclaim. The ad features a large, friendly cat mascot character, representing the game's Weiwei Kid theme. The game is described as a board game, where players open and manage stores to make money, and aim to become the top tenant owner. It supports up to 6 players for lively multiplayer sessions, or can be enjoyed solo. A key feature highlighted is the inclusion of numerous cute characters and the cooperation of various real-life famous Japanese store chains, which appear as locations within the game. These include well-known brands like Tsutaya, Denny's, and Matsumoto Kiyoshi, adding a layer of real-world familiarity to the gameplay. The SESA Awards 97, hosted by the Computer Entertainment Software Association, held a massive prize giveaway with 1,000 winners. Prizes included late 90s technology like Sony Vaio and Toshiba Dynabook laptops, Nintendo 64, PlayStation, and Sega Saturn consoles, digital cameras, virtual pets, mini-disc media, fashion items, and cosmetics. Voting for the awards and entry into the draw occurred via postcard, phone, or website between February 20th and March 20th, 1998. Winners and the awards ceremony were announced at the Tokyo Game Show 98 Spring Afterparty on April 3, 1998, with 100 voters invited. The page also promoted the Tokyo Game Show 98 Spring, highlighting SESA, sponsors like Sony, Sega, Nintendo, and Microsoft, and the opportunity to vote at the event. It offers a glimpse into how the gaming industry engaged fans in the late 90s. This page details the voting process for the SESA Grand Prize 97. It explains that the top award is decided by public vote among computer entertainment software released in Japan during 1997. Voters were asked to select and rank their top 3 favorite games from a comprehensive list of 54 nominated titles presented on the right side of the page. The nominees represent a wide array of genres and platforms, including the PlayStation, Sega Saturn, Nintendo 64, Game Boy, Macintosh, and Windows 95. The list features many iconic games of the era, such as Intelligent Cube, Castlevania, Symphony of the Night, Ultima Online, Ace Combat 2, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Klonoa, Door to Phantomile, Gran Turismo, Grandia, Crash Bandicoot 2, Cortex Strikes Back, Saga Frontier, Star Fox 64, Time Crisis, Chocobo's Mysterious Dungeon, Tales of Destiny, Dead or Alive, Tomb Raider, Final Fantasy V2, Final Fantasy Tactics, Bushido Blade, Breath of Fire 2 Wine, Everybody's Golf, Monster Rancher, Yoshi's Story, Riven, the sequel to Myst, Raystorm, and Mega Man Legends. Fans were encouraged to cast their votes to help determine the best games of 1997. This page features the Sega Saturn game Super Real Mahjong Adventure, Doki Doki Nightmare. It's an adventure game spread across 2 discs. The first disc focuses on a story involving new characters, where the player interacts with them to advance the plot. The second disc builds upon the relationships developed in the first, featuring dating elements and minigames to progress the story. The game boasts impressive features, including over 7,300 frames of full digital animation rendered with advanced motion technology for high-quality visuals. There are also 5 types of minigames included. The page highlights the rich cast, with 12 voice actors lending their talents, alongside credits for the character design and animation staff.
Screenshots show dialogue sequences, menu options for modes like date mode and sound test, and what appears to be an isometric view of the player's room. The game was released on February 26, 1998, for 6,800 yen, excluding tax, and is rated 18+. There's also a mention of a special present campaign for purchasers. The page also notes the ongoing radio show, Mika Heart Miki's Tsuchi radio station, hosted by Mika Kanai and Miki Takahashi, who are among the voice cast. This page showcases the SEGA Saturn game Gal Act Heroism, developed by Microcabin. The main artwork features 3 prominent female characters in dynamic poses, hinting at the action-oriented side of this training role-playing game. Below them, a large group of other female characters are depicted, suggesting a wide cast. The game is described as a thrilling slapstick new training RPG where girls aim to become heroes. The page lists the extensive voice cast involved in the game, featuring many voice actors. Screenshots provide a glimpse into the gameplay, showing character dialogue scenes and what appears to be strategic battles or exploration. There is information regarding the game's release, scheduled for mid-April at a standard price. A significant portion of the page is dedicated to a pre-order campaign, offering a special bonus for those who reserve the game. This section includes instructions and a booking form to participate in the campaign. This page features an advertisement for the official guidebooks for the Sega Saturn game Puro Yaku Team Motsukuru, the third installment in the popular Tsukuru series. This title is a baseball team management simulation where players build and manage their own professional baseball club. The page highlights 2 guidebooks, the Let's Go edition,
which is already available, and the Deep Dive edition, scheduled for release later. These guides promise to help players navigate the complexities of the game. The guide's key points are broken down into 4 main areas: essential tips for team management, effective player training methods, strategies for successful camps, and detailed player data analysis. Visually, the page features the game's distinctive cartoon art style, with screenshots showing various gameplay elements such as managing the team, training players, and viewing player data. A prominent character mascot, a baseball player with a large head and exaggerated features, is featured throughout the artwork, reinforcing the game's lighthearted aesthetic. The overall presentation emphasizes the comprehensive nature of the guidebooks for mastering this simulation title. This page is an advertisement for Yoyogi Animation Academy, a vocational school specializing in media arts. The ad boasts an impressive 98.74% placement and debut rate for its graduates. It promotes affordable education, mentioning low-interest loans, and a system where the first year's tuition is 650,000 yen, with a 100,000 yen celebratory gift upon enrollment in the Osaka campus. The school highlights its extensive network across Japan, with locations including Tokyo, Harajuku, Higashi, Osaka, Nagoya, Fukuoka, Sendai, Sapporo, Hiroshima, Omiya, and Okinawa. They offer various programs relevant to the industry, such as animation, game design, CG anime/game, digital paint artist, entertainment novels, manga/comic, voice acting, and more, with course lengths typically 2 years. Visually, the ad features vibrant character art, notably from Macross 7 Dynamites, suggesting the kind of skills and industries the school caters to. There are also photos of students in classrooms or studio environments. The ad emphasizes practical experience, free trial classes, information sessions, and free auditions for aspiring voice actors and talents. With auditions held in Tokyo, Osaka, and Fukuoka, it clearly targets young people interested in careers in animation, manga, gaming, and voice acting. They also offer flexible options like night classes. This page is the 3rd installment in a series profiling Sega Saturn creators. It features Yuji Naka, the renowned creator of Sonic the Hedgehog, and a genius programmer who represented Sega's consumer software division. The striking photo shows Naka sitting on a red Ferrari F355B with a blue Porsche Carrera 2 behind him, cars specifically mentioned in the article as symbols of his achieved dream and the American dream theme of the feature. The article delves into Naka's career path, highlighting his 14 years at SEGA and his initial assignment to the home console team. It positions him as a creator whose work, unlike the large-scale arcade games developed by figures like Yu Suzuki, resonated deeply with passionate SEGA fans, creating a distinct flavor of games that captivated players. The text promises to explore his journey from his youth, including lesser-known episodes, and his relentless pursuit of dreams and hope through his work with Sonic Team. This feature celebrates Naka's success and his significant impact on the SEGA legacy.
This page continues the feature on Sonic Team producer Yuji Naka, exploring his formative years. The headline describes him as a boy from Osaka, who ran wild with various hobbies before eventually arriving in Tokyo. The article presents an interview where Naka recounts his childhood, starting in Osaka, and later moving to Moriguchi. He talks about being quarantined in a university hospital as a young child due to a rare infectious disease. He reveals his academic strengths lay in science and math, while subjects like Japanese, kanji, and social studies were challenging. As a child, he enjoyed popular toys of the time, including Microman and Cyborg 009, and developed a passion for building things like Lego and plastic models. Naka also reflects on his early aspirations, mentioning diverse dreams like being a musician, cameraman, train driver, or even a NASA astronaut. He notes that liking to make things eventually led him to programming. A significant turning point was his encounter with computers, which he credits to the influence of the band YMO, Yellow Magic Orchestra, in his junior high years. The page includes nostalgic personal photos of Naka from his childhood, showing him at different ages, including playing with a train set, riding a park attraction, and a portrait as a teenager. These images visually chronicle his journey from a young boy with diverse interests to the programmer who would shape SEGA's legacy. This page continues the deep dive into the early career of Sonic Team's Yuji Naka, under a banner that suggests a monthly feature on influential creators. The interview delves into his first experiences with programming after being inspired by YMO, recounting how he saved up to buy a NECPC 8001 computer, only to be initially disappointed by its lack of sound capabilities. He taught himself by reading computer magazines and began porting games, mentioning porting titles across roughly 8 different machines, including the MSX and X1. He describes being particularly inspired by a sharp-dressed programmer he saw working at CSK. The page also features a collection of Yuji Naka's work, listing various SEGA games he was involved with, starting with early titles on the SEGA Mark II, I Like Girls Garden and Great Baseball, and moving through Mega Drive hits like the Sonic series, culminating in Saturn titles such as Nights into Dreams. While the full list isn't detailed here, it clearly spans his pivotal contributions across SEGA's hardware generations. Screenshots of some early games, Girls Garden, Great Baseball, likely referencing the Mark II-I version, and F-16 Fighting Falcon, a Mark II-I port, are shown, giving a glimpse into his foundational work. The vertical text emphasizes the impact of his analysis and porting efforts in his early days. In this interview excerpt, Yuji Naka discusses his early career at SEGA. He describes how his practical skills helped him get hired despite interview setbacks. Initially assigned to the personal computer software section, he began learning the trade by porting games. Key titles he worked on include Master System versions of Fist of the North Star, Space Harrier and Phantasy Star, and Mega Drive versions of Phantasy Star 2, Outrun, Super Thunderblade, and Ghouls 'Ain Ghosts. He shares insights into the challenges of these ports, like technical limitations and development pressures, highlighting how each project shaped his understanding of game design and programming, ultimately paving the way for his future success, including the creation of Sonic. Yuji Naka's interview details his early game development journey, influenced by titles like Ghouls, 'Ain Ghosts, and his initial concepts for scrollable RPGs. His ambition to create dynamic visuals led him to pursue programming at SEGA. A strong desire to visit America culminated in a trip to Silicon Valley after Sonic the Hedgehog's success. He spent 3 years in the U.S., collaborating on Sonic, including meeting designer Naoto Oshima. The page highlights Sonic's rapid development, showcasing screenshots and emphasizing its global impact, significantly boosting SEGA's profile. Upon returning to Japan, Naka's team, Sonic Team, developed SEGA Saturn titles, including Nights into Dreams, a dream world exploration game, and Burning Rangers, a rescue-focused action game. These titles demonstrated the team's evolving creative direction beyond the Sonic franchise.
This page continues the interview with Sega game creator Yuji Naka, titled, A Bible Dedicated to the Next Generation. Naka reflects on his time in America, highlighting the importance of speaking up in meetings compared to the quieter Japanese style. He discusses his desire to create RPGs and F1 games, in addition to action titles after Sonic the Hedgehog, noting the increased difficulty of 3D action games. He shares that he feels the most pressure currently, different from when he primarily programmed himself. Regarding the past 14 years in the industry, he observes how visuals have surpassed movies but questions the increasing reliance on story over core gameplay feel, believing good programming is about that feel. His future dream is to master programming again. He encourages aspiring game creators to have a goal, emphasizing that the industry offers a chance to realize dreams and that he is waiting for them. The page also features a section titled, Childhood Dreams Are Things That Can Be Realized, detailing Naka's youthful obsessions with supercars, trains, animes, and music, illustrated with photos of him posing with a yellow Lamborghini Countach and a red Ferrari, symbolizing how boyhood passions can manifest later in life. This page features a roundtable discussion with the development staff of Chaos Seed from Neverland Company, titled, After 1 month of release, because it's us, we can say this much. The developers, including the producer, director, programmer, and graphic artist, share their thoughts and experiences a month after the game's launch. They discuss their feelings now that the game is out, memorable moments during development, and reception from players and retailers. Several anecdotes are shared, such as being yelled at by the director, the programmer feeling like he was constantly being yelled at, the joy of seeing the game sell out, and the impact of radio commercials. They also mention the Saturn version having significant changes, particularly in the opening movie. The page includes brief profiles of the participants, introducing their roles and some personal details, like the producer's long association with the game's concept and the character graphic artist's work on the Emperor of the Netherworld scenario. There's also a note that a dungeon journal is available. This page continues the roundtable discussion with the development staff of Chaos Seed. The team reflects on the game's difficulty, with one participant admitting they found it quite challenging and wished it had been slightly easier. They share anecdotes about the development process, including the programmer feeling constantly swamped with tasks. Specific gameplay elements are discussed, such as the original plans for a very difficult hyper-boss that feedback indicated was too hard, leading to rebalancing. They also touch upon character design and early ideas like giving the protagonist a personal room. The page features several screenshots showing the game's top-down action perspective and character pixel art, alongside colorful illustrations of the characters and staff profiles. The profiles introduce programmer N. Kashiwagi, Shio Akashi Toshio, who directed the opening CG, and character designer Funato Akira, offering a glimpse into the team behind this unique title and their thoughts now that it was released. The next page continues the developer roundtable discussion for Chaos Seed. The conversation delves into the game's initial concept, which was intended to be a short RPG completable in about 30 minutes, but designed for high replayability. This evolved significantly during development, resulting in a much larger game that can take 70 to 80 hours to fully explore. The team discusses the challenges and efforts made, including completely redoing the graphics from earlier proposals, and dealing with complexities like the card game system. Personal anecdotes emerge, like character designer Akira Funato's strong stance on the protagonist's voice actor, and the team's acknowledgement of likely sacrificing profits due to the extensive development costs. They reflect on the visual presentation, emphasizing the importance of appealing artwork to convey the game's depth. Looking ahead, there's discussion about future projects or updates, with a specific desire to incorporate a sense of the seasons into the world. The developers express hope that players will appreciate the finished product, which they feel is a robust creation born from their dedication. Visuals on the page include illustrations of landscapes from the game. The next page focuses on Chaos Seed Feng Shui Chronicle, specifically detailing gameplay elements within the colorless world, a mysterious realm for soul training. It explains how to navigate specific areas like the Heavenly Flower Palace by creating rooms in a predetermined order to unlock treasures or gain companions, though you can only bring one back. There's also a combat guide for the protagonist, advising the use of weapons with wide attack ranges, and suggesting a strategy where a healing companion supports while the protagonist focuses on recovery. The page also features a collection of fan illustrations related to the game, including characters and a room guide. Additionally, there's a brief mention of a dungeon journal feature and an update on collected setting materials for the game. This page features an advertisement for the official guidebooks for the epic RPG Grandia. The page prominently displays the game's logo and includes several screenshots showcasing the vibrant world and characters, including the protagonist Justin, Phi, and various monsters and locations. 2 guidebooks are being promoted here. The first is the Grandia Official Guidebook Conclusion Edition, which focuses on the latter half of the game, specifically Disc 2. It boasts thorough strategies supported by beautiful maps, and includes complete data for all items and monsters encountered.
It also features a guide to 3 special stages.
This book is a 5 size, 160 pages, and priced at 950 yen. The other book, the Grandia Official Guidebook, is aimed at players starting their adventure. It covers character introductions, a detailed explanation of the battle system, and strategy for the first half of the game. Disc 1. It also includes a handy Grandia glossary for game terminology. This guide is slightly shorter, at 144 pages, also a 5 size, and priced at 950 yen. The advertisement proudly highlights that this first guidebook has already surpassed 200,000 copies sold, indicating its popularity and usefulness among players. Both guides are published by SoftBank Corporation. This page dives into the slopes of snowboarding tricks 98, offering expert tips and strategies for mastering specific courses. The focus here is on downhill number 4 and the challenging hidden course number 5. The article provides general advice on tackling these tracks, emphasizing the importance of solid fundamentals and learning the course layouts thoroughly. Specific tricky sections are highlighted, with detailed instructions on how to navigate challenges like sharp hairpin turns by focusing on entry and exit lines and edge control. Tips are also given for navigating sudden, difficult curves that appear in the landscape, suggesting braking slightly before entering and positioning your board correctly. The notorious hidden course number 5 is described as fittingly difficult, featuring extremely narrow sections and even a dark cave area where visibility is low and obstacles are present. The advice here is to stick closely to the edges to help maintain control and orientation. Adding to the authenticity, the page features commentary from pro snowboarder Katsuo Misawa, who supervised the game's design. He discusses how the game incorporates cool tricks and riding styles, and expresses hope that the game might even inspire players to try real-life snowboarding. The page also includes basic game information, like the publisher, release date, price, and player count. Overall, it's a great resource for players looking to improve their skills on the virtual slopes. This page shifts focus from gameplay tips to showcasing the SEGA Saturn's latest and soon-to-release software lineup. Adorned with striking anime-style character art, it serves as a valuable guide for gamers looking to expand their collection. The first section highlights recent releases, including Micro Cabin's visual novel Roommate 3 and the intriguing Etude prologue. It also features Those Who Hunt Elves 2, based on the popular anime, and Virtual Mahjong, offering a digital take on the classic tile game. The core of the page previews exciting upcoming titles set to hit the Saturn soon. Anticipated games featured are the acclaimed adventure sequel Riven, the sequel to Myst, the frantic action of Courier Crisis, and the time-traveling combat of Time Commando. Also included are Japanese-specific titles like Ayakashi Ninden Kunoichi Ichiban Plus and Ayushigan Gal Act Heroism. This section is clearly designed to help players plan their purchases and build anticipation for the diverse range of genres coming to the console. The characters depicted are likely prominent figures from some of these highlighted games. This page is dedicated to revealing new event scenes from the upcoming real-time communication software, Roommate 3. Ryoko on a Morning Shimmering with Wind, for the SEGA Saturn. Published by Data AM Polystar, the game is planned for an April release at 5,800 yen and is recommended for all ages. Currently 70% complete, the game promises players the chance to feel closer to the featured character, Ryoko. Showcased are several new event CGS and dialogue snippets, highlighting different aspects of Ryoko's personality and daily life. The scenes include her discussing Shakespeare and his references to herbs, contemplating how she smells after trying perfume, admitting her genuine fear of thunder, and even expressing her preference to be called simply Ryoko by the player. These glimpses reveal new sides to Ryoko, building excitement for the full release and the deeper interactions players can expect. This page previews Etude Prologue, a new adventure game from Takuyo for the SEGA Saturn, slated for release in '98. Currently 30% complete, the game is described as a fresh take on the ADV genre that goes beyond simple romance. The big news is that the casting for the characters has been decided, marking the start of full-scale development. The page details the voice actor audition held on January 27th, where 29 finalists competed for the female character roles. The results are in, and 7 talented young women were selected to voice the main heroines. Photos of these winning actresses are featured alongside the character artwork, allowing readers to see who will be bringing which role to life. Examples include Mari Kanbei voicing Hitomi Saeki, and Ri Kenmochi voicing Yumi Saeki. It's mentioned that these 7 actresses are expected to be active in various related media, like the game's different versions and radio dramas. For the male characters, the game has secured a lineup of prominent veteran voice actors, including Toshihiko Seki, Kazuhiko Inoue, Tomokazu Seki, Tetsuya Iwanaga, and Ryotaro Okiya Yu. With the casting now finalized for both male and female roles, the game's development is truly kicking into high gear. This announcement builds anticipation for what promises to be an engaging new adventure title. This page previews 2 upcoming SEGA Saturn titles. First up is The Hunters of Elf 2, an adventure game from Ultron, scheduled for a May release and currently 60% complete, picking up the story after the anime concluded. This sequel to the popular game continues the chaotic adventure of 3 people trying to return to their original world by collecting pieces of a magic spell. It promises a familiar story progression, but is powered up with plenty of original elements not seen in the anime, including new dialogue and story branches depending on player choices. There's even bonus content included, a treat for fans of the series. Below that is Virtual Mahjong from Micronet, set to release on March 5th, and already 100% complete. This is a port of the arcade Polygon Mahjong game, recommended for players 18 and over. It's a serious Mahjong title without cheating, but its main draw is playing against polygon-rendered female opponents. The game features dynamic camera angle changes during matches, reacting to calls and wins, adding to the immersion. And yes, the key feature highlighted is that if you win, the Polygon girls will start to take off their clothes, viewed from various angles. This page dives into the highly anticipated Saturn port of Riven, the sequel to Myst. It confirms the game is nearing completion at 95%, and highlights details specific to this version, including its confirmed release date of April 9th at 7,900 yen, packaged across 4 CD-ROMs. Despite the slight delay from earlier expectations, an interview assures that concerns about differences from the PlayStation version have been addressed positively, with improvements in graphics creating a more immersive environment. The page previews 2 distinct locations within the game's stunning world. Templar Island, noted as the player's initial landing spot with its dramatic bridges and coastal views, and Praetor Island, described as a crucial, layered area featuring vast scenery above and hidden facilities below. The game is an adventure title supporting the shuttle mouse, suitable for all ages, and promises beautifully rendered visuals of its intricately designed islands. The next page continues the deep dive into Riven, the sequel to Myst, showcasing more of its breathtaking world. We see lush screenshots of Jungle Island, described as teeming with diverse environments and wildlife, and Crater Island, featuring a vast lake within a volcano, and paths leading to Gen's laboratory high on the cliffs. There's also a mention of Catherine Island, a secluded place only accessible through Gen's private quarters, posing the question, can you reach it? The core of this page is an interview with Yu Miyake, a joint producer from Enix, discussing the Saturn version's development. He explains that they took user feedback from the earlier PlayStation release seriously, focusing on 2 main areas for improvement: graphics and reducing the number of CD-ROMs. A major complaint on the PS1 was the frequent disc changes, which they successfully reduced from 5 CDs to 4 for the Saturn version, thanks to efficient compression technology like TrueMotion. Miyake also addresses the graphics, acknowledging that the PS1 version was criticized for being too dark in places. The Saturn version aims to provide the most beautiful graphics possible, with adjusted brightness and the reproduction of fine details previously cut, such as water ripples and insects in the jungle. He encourages players to look closely at the visuals, confident that the Saturn version is even more stunning than the PS1 original. The next page delves into the world of Ayakashi Ninden Kunoichi Ichiban plus Haru Ichiban, a female ninja training simulation game. Released on March 26th for 6,800 yen, this single-player title is recommended for all ages. The premise is centered around training kunoichi at the prestigious Hime Yuri Gakuen School, The player's objective is to guide 3 specific princesses who entered the school alongside the protagonist, ensuring they graduate at the top of their class. The page highlights one of the key characters, Hagakure Kureha, voiced by Shiho Kikuchi. Kureha is depicted as an energetic, straightforward girl who serves one of the princesses, and her earnestness is described as a charm point. The gameplay follows a structured flow. Players set a weekly schedule, attend classes to improve skills or meet characters, and engage in free time activities after school. These include visiting other girls, training Kureha, or heading out into the town. Weekends allow for phone calls with the princesses before bed, and monthly exams are held to gauge progress. Achieving high scores in exams increases the affection levels of the characters. Other female characters also appear, adding depth to the story.
Screenshots demonstrate the game's interface, showing the weekly schedule screen, a classroom scene, and various locations for after-school activities. The artwork features several prominent female characters, giving a sense of the game's vibrant cast. The overarching theme, as suggested by the text, is about nurturing these characters and transforming determination into strength.
The next page continues the deep dive into Ayakashi Ninden Kunoichi Ichiban plus Haru Ichiban, introducing the 3 key princesses you'll be training. We meet Kuno Tsukiyu, voiced by Sakura Tange, described as shy and introverted, but with a surprising hidden depth. Next is Fujiki Kasumi, voiced by A. Orikasa, who has a cool demeanor and is popular with other girls, though her true intentions are hard to gauge. Finally, there's Taono Miyuki, voiced by Kikuko Inoue, a calm and relaxed girl who's prone to falling asleep mid-conversation, but excels at cooking and housework. The game features a unique mechanic called the parameter leveling up effect. This system boosts the growth rate of a girl's lower parameters, especially when she attends the same classes as the protagonist. The bigger the difference in skill, the faster her parameters will improve.
Progress is measured through monthly written and practical exams, as well as ninja mission requests. Excelling in these tasks is crucial for improving the girl's abilities and increasing their affection towards you. Screenshots show the exam interface, character stats, and mission details, highlighting the importance of strategic training and performance in these assessments. Weekends offer opportunities to call the princesses, potentially leading to special dream events. This page really emphasizes the core gameplay loop of training, testing, and building relationships with the main heroines.
This page unveils Gal Act Heroism, an RPG from Microcabin, where players guide aspiring heroes at an adventurer's academy. The game centers on girls dreaming of becoming heroes, embarking on a series of adventures that build their skills and reputation. Screenshots display character sprites navigating environments and engaging in combat. The game's flow involves taking on quests and completing them effectively. A key mechanic highlighted is the passage of in-game time, which continues even during planning, making efficient use of every moment crucial for progress. Success in adventures directly impacts the girls' growth and their path to becoming true heroes. It's an RPG that seems to blend traditional questing with time management simulation elements, focusing on character development within a limited time frame. This page delves deeper into the gameplay of Gal Act Heroism, focusing on the core activity, taking on jobs. The page showcases the variety of quests available to the aspiring heroes at the Adventurers Academy. It highlights 4 distinct examples, ranging from finding a missing person in town to escorting goods, assisting in an archaeological excavation that involves ancient riddles and mechanical guardians, and even a challenging expedition into an underground kingdom, culminating in a battle against a fearsome multi-headed dragon. The central figure of the green-haired character emphasizes the diverse challenges the girls will face. The basic mechanics are explained. Quests are accepted via the bulletin board at the Adventurers Guild. Upon successful completion, adventurers receive rewards, including valuable bonus status points that contribute directly to their growth and development, moving them closer to becoming true heroes. It clearly illustrates the loop of accepting missions, undertaking various challenges, and gaining experience and strength. This page reviews the BMX-themed game, Courier Crisis, published by BMG Japan, released March 26th, for 5,800 yen, all ages. The review highlights its responsive, low-stress gameplay, blending Japanese play with an international design. The reviewer praises the satisfying sharp turns and the game's dark image. They commend the predictable job targets and the innovative use of a radar map for 3D navigation. Screenshots showcase urban environments, diverse characters like aliens, and the control pad layout. The game features actions like punching, wheelies, and jump kicks. The page includes copyright information from 1997 and 1998 by New Level Software, Inc. and page number 148, and prominently displays a completion rate 100%.
This page continues the look at Courier Crisis, clarifying right away that the game does not contain violent scenes or grotesque depictions, a point potentially raised by the previous page's mention of a dark image. It then details the 5 distinct areas making up the game's stages: Chinatown, Industria, the waterfront, downtown, and the slum, highlighting key features and challenges of each environment. The page also explains the game's trick system, describing several specific maneuvers, like the cross-up, Air 360, tabletop, spread eagle, and backflip, noting the button inputs and the resulting benefits, such as regaining bike health or boosting stats. Footnotes provide additional context, explaining the terms like violent scene and grotesque in relation to bonus content, and clarifying that the BMX bike in the game is modeled after a real-life GT bike. Time Commando, a new action game from Acclaim Japan, launches March 12th. Players control Stanley, who must retrieve memory chips from a virus-infected supercomputer. The game boasts a variety of enemies across 8 eras: Primitive, Sengoku Japan, Medieval Europe, Inca, Ancient Rome, Wild West, Modern Warfare, and the future. The game emphasizes cinematic presentation with advanced 3D technology and offers a streamlined interface, displaying health, lives, the virus's progress, enemy health, current weapon, and collected chips directly on screen. Players must collect chips, battling over 80 enemy types to reverse the computer's infection before time runs out and searching for lost comrades. This page is an introduction page for a strategy guide section covering recently released SEGA Saturn software. The large text prominently declares "Thorough Guide," emphasizing the depth of the content. Below this, a banner confirms it's a SEGA Saturn Soft Complete Guide. The page features dynamic anime artwork, showcasing 2 main characters who appear to be from The Legend of Heroes, 2 Wands. White Witch, given it's the first title listed in the guide's table of contents. A smaller portrait of one of the characters is also included. The list of featured games provides a snapshot of the titles covered, ranging from RPGs like The Legend of Heroes, 2 Wand, White Witch, and the critically acclaimed Panzer Dragoon Saga, listed as a Zell, Panzer Dragoon RPG, to sports titles such as Let's Make a Professional Baseball Team, adventure games like Tsuchipai Adventure, Doki Doki Nightmare, and Dukoku Soshite, visual novels like Machi, and action games like Sokusito Kai, SLA Shout SS, and Winter Heat. The guide promises comprehensive data and highlights important points for navigating these diverse Saturn titles. It's clear this section aims to provide valuable assistance to players diving into these games. This guide details the Hawk's Claw Sea Voyage events in The Legend of Heroes, a tier of Vermilion, focusing on 2 main quests. The first is finding the missing Captain Gilba, offering a step-by-step flowchart for efficiency. The second, the primary event, involves identifying a thief on the ship. A flowchart guides players through conversations with characters like Guess and Shala, and exploring locations such as the captain's cabin and storage room, ultimately leading to the identification of Heston using sleep medicine as a clue. The guide also briefly introduces the Ambrish Kingdom, a peaceful nation ruled by King Alfred, and provides a glimpse of its geography, history, and economic importance, mentioning a volcano, lake legend, and key cities. This page provides a comprehensive guide for the Menart Country section of The Legend of Heroes, a tier of Vermilion. It features an action flowchart detailing the progression through various locations in the region. Key events covered include a side quest in Neely involving a lost silver dagger and escaping a collapse in the Tagura coal mine. The guide also details the dramatic events unfolding at Naruba Castle and reveals the true nature of the character Alf in Tueru. The page includes a monster guide showcasing creatures encountered in this area, such as the Great Eagle and the Fire Spider, offering tips on how to defeat them effectively. Additionally, there are highlight sections, expanding on the Ambrish Kingdom discussed previously. It points out interesting locations, like the capital Andera, the castle where King Alfred resides, and the bustling trade district. The gourmet section highlights notable foods, including the famous soda water at Domingo's Inn. Screenshots throughout the page illustrate character interactions, combat, and various environments. The next page delves into the Kanomu Country section of The Legend of Heroes, a tier of Vermilion, focusing on the pitfalls of gambling
and other mini-events. An action chart outlines the progression through locations like the Twin Dragon Valley checkpoint, involving multiple stops at dice and darts games, before reaching the Santobashi Bridge. The guide highlights how beginners can get drawn into gambling dens, potentially losing everything at roulette or blackjack, and discusses dealing with professional players. It also details several mini-quests. One involves trading items in a dice village shop for a rare book. Another focuses on revitalizing a deserted village by succeeding at darts with the help of a pro gambler. And a third sends players on a search for a lost musical instrument string for a character named Toroba, found near a river and an old lady's house. The Monster Guide section introduces the One Wolf, an enemy found in Shinomu country, noting it's easily defeated, perhaps with Roddy's jump slash. Finally, the page provides a guide to Uduru country in Tiraswil, known as the Forest Country. It describes its history of conflict with forest demons, and the coexistence with nature, referencing Queen Attiras of Ambrish, who seemingly welcomes everyone to this region, emphasizing living in harmony with the natural world. Screenshots illustrate gambling scenes, village interactions, combat, and discussions with key characters like Queen Ateri. The next page continues the journey in the Legend of Heroes, a tier of Vermilion, focusing on the Ambrish Kingdom and the lead-up to the decisive battle against Galga. An action chart plots the route through locations like Santobashi Bridge, Elsa Coast, Bold, Ignis, the Great Serpent's Back, Andera Castle, Andera Road, back to Elsa Coast, and St. Obashi Bridge, finally reaching Abird Rock. Notably, the guide reveals that the battle at Bold transitions after 7 turns, unveiling the true antagonist, a parasitic beast named Basilar. This foe makes physical attacks almost useless, emphasizing the necessity of using magic and prioritizing healing. The Monster Encyclopedia highlights the Descalgo, a creature with a tough shell resistant to physical attacks, requiring magic for effective damage. It also details the Red Cobra, a dangerous solo enemy with high attack power and special effects like paralysis and poison, best dealt with quickly using magical attacks. A significant side quest in an Andera castle involves participating in a cooking contest, requiring players to collect ingredients from 14 specific characters listed in the guide. Gathering all ingredients is key to winning the competition. The guide also points out highlights of the region, including Uderd country's beautiful forest and Shiful Castle in the royal capital, known for its shrine. A caution is given about the forest layout, warning that it's easy to get lost and encounter powerful monsters. This page delves into SEGA Professional Baseball, creating a team, focusing on a crucial early decision: where to establish your team's home base. It highlights this as a key feature, allowing players to choose from a staggering 729 locations across all prefectures in Japan, even potentially their own hometown for added connection. The guide explains the significant impact the chosen location has on game management. Key factors influencing this include population, which directly affects potential attendance and revenue; land price, impacting construction and maintenance costs for facilities like the stadium and parking lots; and even rainfall, which can affect gameplay frequency if you don't have a dome stadium. To illustrate these effects, the page presents a table comparing 5 model cities:
Shinjuku, Tokyo; Osaka, Nagano, Hamamatsu, and Yono, Saitama. It shows how population, land price rank, from S to C, and rainfall vary, along with the corresponding differences in construction and monthly maintenance costs for the stadium, parking lot, store, and massage room. Higher population and land price generally mean higher costs, but also greater potential revenue. Screenshots show the in-game map interface used for selecting regions like Kanto, Kinki, etc., and a specific city selection screen for Osaka, displaying its population and land price rank. This strategic depth in choosing a location based on economic and environmental factors is a neat touch for a baseball sim. This guide for SEGA Professional Baseball focuses on team location and its impact. It provides information on major Japanese cities, rating them by population, land price, and rainfall to aid in site selection. Home game advantages are emphasized. Higher revenue and fan support boost player morale. Away games offer limited income and require facility maintenance. Rainfall's impact is discussed. While minimal rain is ideal, it's manageable through stadium improvements and provides rest opportunities. Finally, it introduces a unique training camp feature. Teams in Okinawa can choose a costly local camp or a more affordable one in Taiwan, with varying training effects to be detailed in a future segment. This page continues the guide for SEGA Professional Baseball,
focusing on key management decisions. It breaks down how to predict the success of a trade based on your manager's comments. Different comments signal varying probabilities, from highly likely, though sometimes not recommended if it hurts your team significantly, to very difficult or almost impossible.
The screenshot shows the trade screen interface, allowing you to propose or cancel a deal. There's also a section on managing popular players, noting that while they are great for attracting crowds and being selected for all-star games, acquiring them through trade can be challenging due to their value. Finally, the guide details the training camp options, following up on the brief mention on the previous page. It lists various international camp locations like Hawaii, Australia, Arizona, and Egypt, explaining the specific skill increases players can gain at each, such as stamina, pitching quality, control, speed, and various batting stats. These camps are crucial for player development and require careful consideration of their effects and costs. This page continues the guide for SEGA Professional Baseball, shifting focus to the crucial pitcher data. It presents a comprehensive table detailing player statistics across various categories like stamina, velocity, control, and pitching skills, ranked on an S through E scale for several teams including the Swallows, Baystars, Carp, and Giants. This data is presented as a valuable reference for players, highlighting initial stats, editor recommendations, and noting that growing players or mid-season recruits might also emerge. Following the data, there's a section dedicated to pitcher rotation and schedule management. The guide explains that while the manager usually sets the rotation, player condition might necessitate adjustments. It emphasizes the strategic importance of reviewing the game schedule to tailor your rotation based on upcoming opponents, whether to secure wins against weaker teams or challenge top teams with your best pitchers. The screenshots provided illustrate the league schedule and team standings, alongside details of individual pitcher matchups, showing key stats like ERA and wins/losses, helping players visualize and plan their rotation strategy effectively. Mastering the rotation is presented as a key factor in achieving victory. This page dives deeper into player specifics for SEGA Professional Baseball, presenting extensive data tables for players on the Tigers, Dragons, Lions, and Blue Wave teams. The tables break down player abilities across numerous categories, including physical stats like stamina, player popularity, batting stance and hand, velocity, ball movement, control, changeups, pitching technique, pinch hitting/running ability, and defensive skill. Beyond the raw stats, there's a valuable section recommending key pitchers from the Central League teams, such as the Swallows, Baystars, Carp, Giants, and Tigers. It highlights players like Ishii and Sasaki, providing insights into their strengths and strategic value for your team's rotation or bullpen. For instance, it calls out the Tigers' Matsunaga as a promising young power pitcher ideal for the starting rotation. Crucially, the guide introduces the vital relationship between pitchers and catchers, emphasizing the importance of the catcher lead, CLEAD, parameter for catchers. As illustrated by the screenshot showing a catcher's stats, a high CLEAD significantly boosts a pitcher's performance. Even the best pitcher will struggle without a capable catcher behind the plate, making securing a catcher with a strong CLEAD paramount for building a winning team. This guide for SEGA Professional Baseball shifts focus to Pacific League teams, providing detailed player statistics through comprehensive tables, including grades for various attributes. The page highlights recommended players for each team. Key pitchers are suggested for each team: Nishiguchi, Lions; Hirai, Blue Wave; Koike and Akahori, Buffaloes; Iwamoto, Fighters; Okamoto, Hawks; and Kuroki, Marines. A hidden technique for the password system is also revealed. Players can control the password readout speed during versus matches. Pressing the R button triples the speed, while L doubles the time. This speed control is presented as a convenient feature for the game. This page provides a detailed guide for the SEGA Saturn adventure game, Doki Doki Nightmare. It's presented as a complete guide to the game, focusing specifically on the crucial first week of gameplay. The game is described as an adventure where you can date 13 different cute girls. The guide outlines the basic flow of the first week, showing events that occur on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, such as meeting characters and exploring the town. It highlights key points and potential pitfalls. Players are warned that pursuing certain girls too early, specifically on Monday, can lead to a bad end involving a character named Rim
advising that target girls should generally be sought from Tuesday onwards. Success in the game relies on increasing girls' affection, which is achieved through careful conversation choices, particularly before the confession event on Saturday. The guide also mentions nighttime events where Rim appears, leading to necessary puzzle battles that the player must win. The page includes a list of the 13 dateable characters, along with the locations where you can first meet them, and a table providing answers to some of the riddles encountered in the game. This page continues the detailed guide for Doki Doki Nightmare on SEGA Saturn. It highlights crucial points you need to be aware of to succeed. Firstly, be careful of Rim's sweet temptation before battles. Answering her question incorrectly will put the girl you're with to sleep, potentially ruining your chances. Another critical point is the question about loving Kokotori before the final battle.
Choosing yes guarantees her ending, regardless of your previous interactions.
The final battle itself is usually a mahjong match against a group of transformed opponents. You must win this to proceed to a good ending. However, if one of the required characters is missing, it reverts to a standard battle. The guide outlines the rest of the week. Thursday involves spending time with girls. Friday features a group transformation event leading into the final battle. Saturday is the confession event, but beware. You can only confess if you haven't pursued any other girls. Sunday is date day, if your confession was successful. Understanding the flow of time is also key. The day is divided into morning, daytime, evening, and night. Meeting and talking to girls advances time, and you can generally meet up to 3 people per day before the nighttime battle with Rim. Date mode is casual, and choices don't significantly impact later events. Finally, the page teases a hidden love feature, accessible from the main menu under certain conditions, and promises character-specific strategy guides in the next issue.
This page pivots to a comprehensive strategy guide for the survival horror adventure game Lament, and then it begins by explaining the fundamental gameplay loop, which centers on finding and using specific items to overcome various traps and puzzles to progress. The guide stresses that items are often hidden in unassuming locations and encourages players to thoroughly search the environment. It also warns about unpredictable sudden events that can occur even just by walking down a hallway, advising players to save their game frequently. The guide then walks through the initial sequence of events, starting with the protagonist waking up in the maid room. It details the process of escaping this room by finding a key, flashlight, and battery. The subsequent goal is to find other characters in the mansion, specifically mentioning Kandagawa, Marie, Katsura, Itsumi, Chisa, and Ryu. Key events covered include hearing about the mansion from Marie, helping Itsumi fulfill her wish to take a bath, which involves fixing parts of the boiler room and changing room using items like towels, duct tape, and a mirror, opening a stubborn locked door with solvents, and encountering a body in the bow and arrow room. The guide also touches on a specific event in the car wash requiring a stick to retrieve gum without touching it, illustrated with a screenshot of Itsumi. Screenshots show the maid room, the changing room, and other key locations discussed in the walkthrough sections. This page continues the in-depth walkthrough for the survival horror adventure game, Lament, and then, picking up after the initial exploration, the guide details entering the reception area, where you'll encounter Norma and Suzune. A key event involves Suzune accidentally spilling oil, leading to a situation requiring specific items like a maid uniform and Key 03 to help her change. Exploring further, you can find a photograph of a girl you recognize in the trophy room. Progression involves opening a locked closet using a cutter, which leads into dealing with a combination lock puzzle on a safe inside. The guide then outlines events in the hallway, including a confrontation between Chisa and Kandagawa. You'll have the opportunity to choose which character to accompany, or if you choose neither, you can spend time with Normal and Suzune, solving puzzles like a number panel based on temperature and a sliding picture puzzle. Finding a paper bag that fell under the floor requires clever use of a gummed stick and a fishing hook and line. Finally, the page covers a critical event in the car wash, where Chisa gets stuck in a ditch under a heavy iron plate. Rescuing her requires specific tools like an electric screwdriver, hairpin, and driver. The guide warns of a potential death event during this sequence, emphasizing the danger. Screenshots throughout illustrate key moments and puzzles you'll face in this tense part of the game. The next page dives into the critically acclaimed sound novel, Machi, specifically detailing some of the unfortunate paths you can take on the third day. This section focuses on 4 distinct bad ends for different protagonists,
giving hints on what leads to these less than ideal outcomes. First up is Tobisawa Yohei's Bad End number 43, where he surprisingly gets involved in a kidnapping attempt while trying to manage childcare responsibilities after a date. Next, Shinoda Tadashi faces Bad End number 57, finding himself in a desperate situation and attacked by the formidable Shiramine group during his intense pursuit. Amemiya Keima's journey leads to Bad End number 45, resulting in him being demoted from his investigation after civilians get involved, coinciding with a bomb threat at a cafe tied to his past. Finally, Ichikawa Fumiyasu encounters Bad End number 48, where he falls victim to hypnosis during his investigation into a vanishing film. Each section includes screenshots depicting moments related to these dramatic turn of events, offering visual context to these unfortunate conclusions on the third day. This page continues the detailed walkthrough from Akechi, specifically covering more unfortunate outcomes on the third day for several characters. First, we look at Ushio Masami, whose paths can diverge into Bad End number 53, where he becomes entangled with a bizarre group known as the Cabbage Cult, after encountering a strange girl, leading to him becoming a cabbage man. Alternatively, he might end up in Bad End number 54, becoming a cabbage seller, again involving the peculiar girl. Screenshots show a character looking distressed and a girl holding a cabbage. Next is Mabu Jintaro, who faces two potential accident-related bad ends. Bad End number 51 involves a taxi accident, while Bad End number 52 is a location bus accident. These seem to occur when attempting to reconnect with the film crew. The accompanying image shows a character running from a car. Takamine Takashi's journey can lead to Bad End number 44, where he gets into trouble for hitting the Superintendent General, occurring around 1:30 p.m. A screenshot shows him interacting with an older man. Finally, Hosoi Yoshiko has Bad End number 49, titled Yoshiko is Hypnotized, which happens around 2 p.m. The screenshot shows her in a trance-like state. The page also mentions points where the story continues for each character, and a section on the traditional pink bookmark feature found in sound novels, which often contains hints or extra information. This page features a special interview with Masakazu Arai, the actor who plays Keima Amamiya in the sound novel Machi. This is a requested feature, highlighting one of the main protagonists whose journey was detailed in the walkthrough on the previous page. Arai shares his experiences during the game's filming, noting it was generally fun. He mentions spending downtime at game centers, playing Virtual Fighter with the cast. He also recounts a difficult scene involving falling into a pond in cold weather, describing it as a muddy ordeal. His profile lists his birthdate, June 22, 1970. Blood type, O. Hometown, Tokyo. Height, 175 centimeters. Weight, 61 kilograms. And skills, kendo, boxing, volleyball. His entertainment credits include TV dramas like Representative Director Detective, Zenigata Heiji, and Abara Renbo Shogun. Regarding hobbies, Arai prefers reading or listening to music on holidays and enjoys sports, having tried surfing, tennis, and skiing the previous year. He expresses interest in trying more modern dramas in the future. Reader feedback praises his performance as Keima, noting his cool demeanor and smile. The page also includes a quote from Arai reflecting on the character, stating that while their hobbies differ slightly, he and Keima are fundamentally similar. There's also a photo of Arai as Keima drinking coffee milk, which is relevant to the character's habits in the game. Seki Sakio, known for playing Misako Arai in the SEGA Saturn game Machi, discusses her experience filming in Shibuya as a high school student. She fondly remembers filming locations and the challenges of the wedding dress scene, particularly the Virgin Road sequence. Despite not being a hardcore gamer, Seki enjoys titles like Momotaro Dentetsu and Bishoujo games, and got hooked on Tetris after winning. Her hobbies include walking, amusement parks, and skydiving. She is looking forward to future acting opportunities, including a commercial with a co-star, and hopes to take on more impactful roles, even a villainous one. Her profile reveals her birth date as March 14, 1980, blood type O, from Shinagawa, Tokyo, and a height of 164 centimeters. Reader feedback praised her performance. This page dives into the strategy of the SEGA Saturn fighting game Battle Athletes. It covers fundamental defensive techniques like utilizing jump, standing, and crouching guards, noting that guarding special moves still inflicts minor damage. The guide emphasizes controlling the flow of the match through smart wake-up options after being knocked down, detailing the 3 recovery methods: staying in place, rolling forward or rolling backward, and how they can create space or disrupt the opponent's timing. It then introduces sonic combos, explaining how to chain together normal attacks and dash attacks by mastering timing and attack speeds, showing a visual diagram of possible links. The page also discusses the use of special move cancels, particularly referencing the Iron Arm special move, as a way to aim for high damage combos, while cautioning about potential damage scaling. Finally, it highlights a tactical use of cancelable special moves for escaping pressure or getting away when low on health, using character examples like Akaya. The screenshots showcase different attack types, high, mid, low, and demonstrate various in-game situations. This page delves into the strategies for two distinct characters in the fighting game Battle Athletes, Shibata Akio and Motoko Ai. For Shibata Akio, the guide focuses on achieving knockdowns, recommending the Hadu Bakure projectile aimed at the opponent's feet, followed by combos into Hadu Hugeki. Close-range combat relies on quick light attacks, leading into sonic combos. The character lacks dedicated anti-air but can use Hadu Hugeki and Hadu Bakure in this role. When the killing intent gauge is full, powerful Iron Arm special moves like Hadu Geki Hao and Hansha Laser Hao become available, including a complex multi-hit combo starting with Hansha Laser Hao. Motoko AI is highlighted as being significantly powered up, gaining projectiles and cancelable normal/dash attacks, though losing some abilities from a previous iteration, Motoko Flame. Her core strategy involves sonic combos initiated from crouching light kick and using small dash attacks, mid kick, for pressure at a distance. When the killing intent gauge is full, frequent use of Iron Arm special moves like Motoko Tekyu is encouraged, aiming for the top spot among characters. A key guard-breaking tactic involves Motoko Jinkao Tobidogu projectiles, or canceling into Mega Motoko Taiku. The guide notes a long, high-damage combo starting with a jump big kick, culminating in Motoko Taiku, but also mentions simpler variations for beginners. Screenshots throughout the page illustrate these attacks and combos in action. This page provides a strategic breakdown for the 3D shooter Stella Assault SS, focusing on air combat techniques for different fighter types and tips for the early stages. It highlights the importance of understanding your ship's capabilities beyond just the mission objectives. Two primary fighter variants are detailed: the Feather, I-Type A, and Type B. The Type A is described as an aggressive ship suited for advanced players, excelling at close range where its attack power increases. Its core strategy involves maintaining speed to avoid enemy fire while quickly destroying targets once they're in your sights, though it struggles to shoot down incoming bullets. In contrast, the Feather I-Type B is presented as a more defensively capable craft with a powerful turbo laser, making it accessible to both beginners and experienced pilots. Its turbo laser can effectively intercept enemy projectiles and is strong against battleships head-on, making clearing stages quite straightforward. However, its main drawback is high energy consumption. The page also briefly touches on using the assault field, recommending it defensively against large opponents and collisions to maintain visibility and avoid damage. Stella Assault SS is a 3D shooting game that supports two-player co-op and is available now for 5,800 yen. This page is a stage-by-stage strategy guide for Stella Assault SS, covering stages 1 through 10. It provides expert advice and screenshots for navigating the various challenges the player will face. Starting with stage 1, the focus is on mastering basic targeting and clearing waves of enemies after an initial base scan. Stage 2 ramps up the action, requiring players to destroy asteroid thrusters, clear enemies, and then take down the asteroid core itself. Stage 3 introduces the formidable large battleship, emphasizing targeting the specific objective rather than engaging all foes. The guide continues through diverse scenarios. Stage 4 demands the complete annihilation of all enemy units near an asteroid procurement point, including transport ships. Stage 5 presents a significant challenge by requiring the destruction of 5 battleships before assaulting the frontline base. Stage 6 shifts to a defensive role, tasking the player with protecting a friendly survey ship by repelling enemy fighters. Stage 7 is unique, focusing purely on atmospheric maneuvering within a target zone without combat. Stages 8 and 9 return to dogfighting, first in the atmosphere with reduced visibility, then targeting a single durable heavy bomber. Finally, Stage 10 is a timed challenge, where the player must destroy multiple engines on 2 unknown objects to proceed to the final battle. Each entry includes specific tips, such as ignoring minor enemies, targeting weak points, or adapting to different environments like the atmosphere. The page is visually supported by screenshots showing key moments or targets for each stage. This guide unveils hidden features and cheats within the SEGA Saturn title, Winter Heat. Unlock Jeff Jansen's, a hidden character, by earning over 10,000 points across all events. Once achieved, select him by pressing L and R on the character select screen. Other cheats include changing character costume colors by pressing down on the character select screen. You can also make characters run during events by inputting left, left, right, right, left, right on the event title screen. The guide also offers event-specific tips. In speed skiing, rapid button presses enhance speed. Also, specific button combos during the player introduction cause comical falls. Finally, in short track speed skating, you can knock opponents off the track by skating into them from the inside corner from the second lap onwards. In Winter Heat, ski jump relies on takeoff angle. Use left/right on the DPAD before jumping for a V-shape and extended flight. Downhill emphasizes straight gliding with up on the DPAD for a 30% speed boost, along with a cross ski and mogul jump maneuvers. Slalom allows knocking down two gates simultaneously by holding the action button, and holding B changes the camera view. Bobsleigh offers slight push speed increases by holding B before starting. Cross country utilizes classical skiing by holding B, conserving stamina. Speed skating advises sliding before the goal line with left plus action or the figure pin jump. Finally, snowboard gains speed with up on the DPAD and relies on various jump timing techniques with the action button and DPAD inputs, down plus action. This page provides a strategic guide for the Imperial Fleet garrison area in Panzer Dragoon Saga. It highlights this location as crucial for grinding experience and obtaining valuable items due to the abundance of Imperial weaponry, specifically Old World relics like battleships rather than biological creatures. The guide emphasizes the importance of earning excellent combat bonuses to maximize experience gains, recommending this area to level up significantly before proceeding to the latter half of the game. It suggests using a mind/tech type dragon for efficient clearing and obtaining these bonuses. A key point is the presence of hidden items within the stationary battleships. Players are strongly advised to retrieve these before destroying the ships. Destroying the fleet triggers Alert Level 2, which opens access to the central area containing bosses but prevents exiting the garrison. Enemy types like Varna Vadam, Varna Laser, and Naraka Vadem are shown with brief descriptions and combat tips. Maps illustrating the area layouts under both Alert Level 1 and Alert Level 2 are also included, showing enemy placements. The guide serves as an essential resource for navigating this challenging area, maximizing rewards, and preparing for the bosses. This Panzer Dragoon Saga guide focuses on late-game boss battles and the approach to the tower. It covers strategies for defeating the Vlitra and Valarha, emphasizing the importance of starting in the green zone for an easier, excellent rating. The primary challenge is the Merkalava, where players must infiltrate and destroy its internal power source, dodging light particles and enemies. Strategies include targeting its energy core when protective plating opens. The guide also provides tips for handling the ballista and photon cannon within the Merkalava. Additionally, the text mentions the story's progression in Zoa, encounters with antagonists, and the mystery of the tower and Akazel. Finally, it includes enemy and weapon profiles, with brief combat advice for units like patrol ships, gun batteries, battleships, and a revisit of the Vlitra and Valarha. This page covers the intense third and final battle against Amazel and the Atom Dragon in Panzer Dragoon Saga. It highlights strategies for defeating both Atom Dragon 3 and 4. For Atom Dragon 3, the key is to exploit its weakness on the front, after its powerful berserk attack temporarily stops. Atom Dragon 4 requires destroying its shielded attack and recovery items first, before targeting the weak point at the tail. The page emphasizes paying attention to weak points and managing item usage. Following the main guide content, there's a section revealing post-clear game secrets. Clearing the game and loading the save unlocks a box game and adds a new movement point on the world map, leading to a hidden Euromap with extra challenges. These challenges include time attack and score attack modes in familiar locations, as well as a special stage for fans of the creature Laggy. Finally, the page includes profiles for several enemies and weapons encountered, such as Aquor, Umbra, various ballista types, Alspiro, and the Atom Dragon forms, offering tips on how to fight them and listing potential items they possess. This page dives into the competitive action puzzle game Noon, highlighting the unique strengths and weaknesses of its diverse character roster. The key to victory in Noon Fight is mastering the distinct abilities of your chosen character. The page presents 6 playable characters: Remuria, Yoroi Onimaru, Kokol and Kokole, Jalera, Rigamin, and Rongo Rongo. Each character is rated across several stats like power, speed, normal attack, special move effectiveness, attack power, pursuit power, comeback ability, and self-destruction rate. Brief descriptions accompany each character, outlining their playstyle and the utility of their special moves. For instance, Remuria excels at chaining, while Yoroi Onimaru focuses on disrupting the opponent's board with his special. General strategy tips are provided, emphasizing the importance of building chains, but also knowing when to break them to prevent opponents from reversing them. Managing the special move gauge is crucial, as getting hit when it's full halves it. The page also covers strategies for taking down specific CPU bosses encountered in the single-player mode, including Mizuki, Orochiheim, KK, Soul, and the final boss, Kamui, offering advice on their patterns and how to counter them. Ultimately, understanding the nuances of your character's performance is paramount. This page promotes Continuation of the Dream, the first photo essay book by Oji Hiroi, the creator behind numerous hit works like Far East of Eden and Sakura Wars. The book features photos taken by Hiroi in Vietnam, described as one of Asia's most energetic countries, capturing the everyday sense of life there. These images are combined with essays that link present-day Vietnam to the downtown Tokyo of the Showa 30s, 19,551,964, where Hiroi grew up. The book aims to explore the source of Oji Hiroi's inspiration through this unique comparison between Vietnam and Japan. It is now on sale to great acclaim. The book is AB5 size hardcover, 136 pages long, and priced at 1,800 yen. Information on purchasing the book, including ordering options, is also provided. This page continues the introduction to digital cameras, focusing on their core components. It explains the function of the CCD, the light-sensing chip that captures the image, detailing how it uses RGB filters to interpret color, and mentions the concept of effective pixels. The page also touches on the CPU's role in processing the image data efficiently, noting that RISC processors are commonly used. It discusses the increasing trend of using LCD monitors on cameras for reviewing shots, and mentions different types of LCD technology. Finally, it covers memory storage, highlighting the emergence and competition between smart media and compact flashcard formats for saving your photos. There are also illustrations showing examples of a rugged digital camera, the RGB filter pattern on a CCD, and the different memory card types. The author is introduced as Kazutoshi Otani, a technical writer specializing in cameras and technology. Adding a touch of levity is a multi-panel comic strip featuring a cat with dialogue bubbles, seemingly commenting on the images or other parts of the page in a whimsical manner. This page is dedicated to reader contributions and discussions related to the Megami Tensei series, with a strong focus on soul hackers. The VR Art Museum Countdown section showcases fan artwork submitted by readers, featuring popular characters from soul hackers such as Namisa, Hitomi, Six, Mary, and Yuichi. The comments accompanying the art express appreciation for the characters' designs and personalities, highlighting aspects like Namisa's brightness, Mary's cuteness, and Yuichi's leadership and warmth. There's also a section dedicated to Megami Tensei merchandise, announcing the release and availability of a Soul Hackers comic anthology. The Megaten Conference Room provides a forum for readers to share their thoughts and ask questions about the series. Topics mentioned include the Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner TV drama, and queries about characters like Anun. Looking ahead, the next week section teases the highly anticipated results of the character popularity poll, the Countdown, along with comments from the developers at Atlas, promising exciting reveals for fans. This page truly captures the vibrant community surrounding Soul Hackers and the broader Megami Tensei universe. This page delves into the world of Elf Corporation, the developer behind popular titles like Yuno, a girl who chants love at the edge of the world. Featured prominently is voice actress Kimiko Furuyama, known for her role as One section is dedicated to her ongoing column, fittingly titled Kimiko Furuyama as Ninth Time, where she shares personal thoughts. Another column, Kimi-chan is going to become a great voice actress, offers her perspective on pursuing her career. She talks about the ELF homepage, highlighting a popular feature called the Words from Shusaku-san corner, where fans submit lines or haiku related to this specific character/series popular among ELF fans. Kimiko shares her excitement after an entry she chose for a contest in this corner actually won. She also notes that her own interview is now featured on the ELF homepage, covering both her work and private life, accompanied by several photos. The page includes a reader's voice section with fan feedback, touching upon topics like Valentine's Day and anticipation for upcoming ELF games. There's also an ELF message board and a call for postcard submissions for comments, thoughts, and questions for ELF and for Kimiko Furuyama herself. The page includes contact information and the ELF homepage URL. This page features a collaboration between Konami's CS Promotion Department and SEGA Saturn Magazine, highlighting Konami's recommendations from the CS promotion staff themselves. In this 6th installment, staff members Kamata, Izawa, and Maruta openly discuss their favorite Konami games. Izawa recalls enjoying Famicom titles like Gradius and The Goonies, and being particularly impressed by the world of Snatchers after joining Konami. Maruta's top picks include Metal Gear on MSX and Castlevania. They also praise Suikoden for its storyline and balance. The discussion touches upon the challenge of games like Konami's NBA title and the massive success of the Power Pros baseball series, with staff members admitting to becoming fans despite previously preferring Namco's Family Stadium. They also mention the importance of balance and engaging gameplay in RPGs. The page also includes messages from Konami's regional studios. A letter from KCE Nagoya introduces a staff member who reflects on the company's history. The letter from KCE Kobe section features two staff members, Ibisu and Funyo, shown in a photo, discussing their work and mentioning titles like Dracula 3D. These sections provide a glimpse into the broader Konami development structure and their ongoing projects. This page continues the discussion with Konami's CS promotion staff, featuring Kamata, Izawa, and Maruta. The conversation delves into their personal gaming experiences and thoughts on Konami's lineup. Izawa mentions being hooked on character-based games like Tokimeki Memorial, while Maruta highlights the balance and engaging world design in Tokimeki Memorial and the enduring appeal of Snatchers, even a decade after its original release. They also touch upon the challenge of promoting certain genres and the importance of making games accessible and enjoyable for a wider audience, not just core fans. The staff reflects on past successes, including the impact of games like Suikoden, and expresses confidence in their promotional efforts. Maruta specifically praises Castlevania, Symphony of the Night, and Metal Gear Solid, showing his appreciation for these iconic series. The page also includes feedback from readers in a section called Sekiguchi Ezawa Toranamon Kaihatsu, where a user asks about potential remakes or sequels, mentioning a fondness for Lagrange Point. Finally, there's a small section featuring fan art and details on how to submit letters to the magazine. This page is dedicated to the Amadio Club fan page, focusing primarily on games from Cosware, particularly the Eve series like Eve and the Lost One and Desire. The main visual features a beautiful illustration of a key female character from Eve the Lost One, created by Kyoko Kirino. The page includes a section answering questions from fans, covering topics like the difficulty of seeing all endings in Eve, the availability of special items for Eve the Lost One, and clarifying that while Eve is from Imadio, sees where, Desire is by a different developer, though both were well received. There's also an Eve glossary explaining specific terms from the games, such as teller, the assassin with a specific id number and method, and the multi-site system, a game mechanic requiring players to switch character perspectives to progress the story, emphasizing the importance of reading the manual. Finally, a humorous dialogue section titled Things You Absolutely Cannot Say in a Game Magazine features a chat between staff members Horikiri, Takahashi, and someone named Cross, discussing various topics in a lighthearted, informal tone, even including amusing self-deprecating profiles. The page provides a fun, fan-focused look into the world of Amadio's adventure games. This page continues the Amadio Club fan section, focusing on the Eve series. It features a contest called Who is Snake for the game Eve the Lost One, asking players to guess the identity of the mysterious character Snake. The contest is weekly, and the prize is a store promotional video for the game. To enter,
Players need to send a postcard with their guess and personal details. The page reveals the current results based on 10,000 postcards received, listing the top 8 most suspected characters. Mickage is currently number 1 on the Suspiciousness Best 8 list. The next deadline for entries is February 26th. There are fan comments, including one from Saga Prefecture praising the return of Kojiro and noting that he hasn't changed much. Another comment from Gunma Prefecture expresses excitement for Eve and Marie's Atelier. The page also announces the Eve Burst Error and Desire Premium Pack, which was released on February 26th. This package bundles both Even Burst Error and Desire and includes a trial version of both Prologue of Lost One and Even the Lost One. It's recommended to play this before starting Even the Lost One. They mention receiving fan letters about this bundle. Finally, there's a section recruiting contributions for the Amadio Club Corner, asking for illustrations, questions, interesting text snippets, cosplay photos, and even plushy pictures. They specifically mention looking for shot-alike, sweat, rotten, and shoe-themed content, inviting quirky submissions via postcard. Arcade Express Volume 19 highlights Taito's new arcade title, Densha de Go! 2 Kosoku Hen, a sequel to the popular train driving simulator. This installment features realistic train operation across various routes, including the Hoku Hoku Line and Akita Shinkansen Komachi, with difficulty levels ranging from beginner to special class. A major addition is the ability to exceed 200 km per hour. Gameplay centers around mastering acceleration, braking, and adhering to timetables, with penalties for errors like schedule disruptions or exceeding speed limits. Screenshots display the game's visuals, including the E3 Komachi train in snowy environments, and the arcade cabinet itself. A bonus game offers players the challenge of coupling trains. The game emphasizes precision, rewarding players for accurate stops. This new version builds upon the series, offering faster speeds and new challenges for fans. This page of Arcade Express highlights several new arcade titles from Taito. First up is Psychic Force 2012, an update to the popular 3D fighting action series. This version integrates the Psychic Gauge with the Life Bar, introduces a curved slide dash for evasive maneuvers, a barrier break attack, and new methods for managing your Psychic Gauge, including Hypercharge and Psychic Impulse. The game features intense psychic battles with a diverse cast of characters, building upon the foundation of the previous title. Next is Boostamove 4, the latest entry in the classic puzzle series. This installment introduces new mechanics like the pulley and clock systems in puzzle mode, adding fresh challenges. The Versus mode also features distinct attack patterns, illustrated with diagrams showing how bubbles are added to the opponent's field from the top or bottom, depending on the chosen type. The game offers a substantial amount of content, with over 550 stages and various modes for both single and multiplayer fun. Also featured is Poppin', a new puzzle game with a hot air balloon theme. Players shoot 2 balloons at floating balloon clusters to match colors and clear the screen. The key is aiming for chain reactions. Assistance comes from items that appear when an item gauge is filled. A brief note from Taito follows up on the previous page's train simulator feature, encouraging players to try their range of newly released arcade titles beyond just Densha de Go, specifically mentioning fighting and puzzle games. This page is dedicated to Capcom news and fan content, kicking off with, Hello! Capcom Volume 47. The highlight is the announcement of the results for the rival schools. United by Fate School Song Contest. The page features a large image of Kyosuke Kagami and presents the winning entries for the school song. Below that is a section for reader mail titled Moshi Moshi Mojishinade, where fans share their thoughts, including comments on games like Marvel vs. Capcom and Street Fighter II. Another popular section, Dai Push no Heiya, showcases fan illustrations. This installment features artwork of characters like Chun-Li from Street Fighter, Elena from Street Fighter II, and Akira Kazama from rival schools, highlighting the creativity of the fanbase. The page also announces the start of a new illustration contest for Darkstalkers 3, with a prominent illustration of Felicia to mark the occasion. There's also a smaller related section called Savior's Cabin, likely another reader corner focused on Darkstalkers 3. The page concludes with the address for submitting contributions. This page dives into the heart of Capcom's Tokyo branch, putting a spotlight on the fresh faces joining the public relations team. As a welcome challenge, these newcomers are pitted against the magazine's own team in the upcoming fighting game, Vampire Savior, known internationally as Darkstalkers 3. The friendly matches showcase characters like Pyron, Bishaman, Felicia, and Dimitri, Demity, highlighting the newcomers' efforts despite their limited experience with the Vampire series. Ultimately, the magazine team claims victory. However, the legendary Fukumoto Meijin, a former Capcom correspondent, makes a dramatic appearance to demonstrate true mastery of the game. The page also introduces each newcomer, with profiles detailing their reasons for joining Capcom and their aspirations within the company, along with encouraging words from their team leader. For anyone aspiring to join the ranks, there's brief information on recruitment. The page features screenshots of Vampire Savior gameplay, showing characters like John Talbane and QB, grounding the report firmly in the world of Darkstalkers. This page continues the fighting game coverage, shifting focus to Marvel superheroes on the SEGA Saturn. It provides character-specific advice and introduces hidden techniques. The top section features screenshots of the final boss, Onslaught, emphasizing his imposing presence. The main body of the page delves into strategic tips for 4 key characters. Spider-Man is highlighted for his new aerial dash, enabling tricky movement and complex web ball combos, making his aerial game particularly strong. Captain America is presented as a powerful, rather than speedy, fighter, with advice on utilizing his shield slash and aerial rave effectively, even suggesting unique chain combo follow-ups. Venom's ground game is emphasized, noting his reach with light attacks and how to follow up with throws and combos. His versatile Venom Fang move is also mentioned as a great option from anywhere, with minimal risk. Finally, War Machine's unique flying ability is discussed, offering powerful bombing and attack options from the air, though cautioning against relying too heavily on flight due to defensive vulnerability. The page also points out how to chain into War Machine's War Destroyer hyper combo. Overall, it's a valuable guide for players looking to deepen their understanding of these specific heroes in Marvel superheroes. The next page continues the deep dive into Marvel superheroes vs. Street Fighter, offering strategic analysis for more characters and revealing hidden game mechanics. The page provides detailed breakdowns for Hulk, highlighting his powerful attacks originating from his large frame and his strong jump attacks, while noting his slower movement. Gambit's stability and enhanced hyper combos are discussed, emphasizing his ability to keep opponents pressured. Wolverine is described as fundamentally unchanged from previous iterations but still highly effective, with his speed and versatile berserker slash being key tools. The mighty final boss, Onslaught, is also pictured and described as the ultimate, formidable foe, hinting at his true form and overwhelming power. A significant section reveals unrecorded techniques, presenting special move and hyper combo commands not found in the arcade instruction manuals for a large roster of characters, including Ryu, in both his normal and Akuma modes, Morrigan, Strider, Zangief, Chun-Li, Jin Saotome, Captain Commando, Mega Man, and Captain America. Finally, the page details 2 interesting game system mechanics: the ability to swap your starting character before a match by holding punch buttons, and the special partner hijack technique, allowing players to steal an opponent's assist character by holding kick buttons after a KO. The next page features a deep dive into the highly anticipated arcade game, Cyber Troopers Virtualon Oratorio Tangram, showcasing its appearance at the AOU show held in Makuhari Messe. The striking image of a pink and purple mecha dominates the left side, highlighting the game's iconic visual style. The article reports on the game's reception at the show, noting its powerful presence alongside other major titles like Fighting Vipers 2. Attendees were captivated by the vibrant graphics and dynamic presentation, with 16 dedicated cabinets available for play. The development status is revealed as 89.4% complete, with the remaining work focused on crucial fine-tuning of response, balance, and final adjustments. Commentary is included from Dr. Wataru, who expresses confidence in creating a game designed to be enjoyed for years to come. Player feedback highlights the initial learning curve, but praises the new gameplay elements and increased tactical depth compared to previous entries, eagerly anticipating the final version. The game is confirmed to run on Sega's powerful Model 3 board, Step 2, and is described as a fighting action game, with recent operation expected. Screenshots display the in-game HUD and action, as well as the bustling arcade booth setup. This article reviews Cyber Troopers Virtualon Oratorio Tangram from the AOU show. It highlights control differences, including the quick-step mechanic varying by mech and the new small jump proximity attack. The stages boast improved detail and diverse environments, with new features like conveyor belts. A key improvement is the battle format, allowing linked twin cabinets to select opponents from other available seats,
enhancing strategic choices. The article introduces the new Oratan dedicated twin cabinet with design upgrades, and the second screen displaying the opponent's view. The report then details the 11 confirmed virtuoids: Temujin, Raiden, Cypher, APHARMD, FINKN, APHARMDS, Greisvolk, Dordre, Barbados, Spacinef, and Angeland, each with unique characteristics and weaponry. While hinting at 12 mechs, only 11 were confirmed, promising more information later. This page focuses on merchandise and an upcoming event for Cybertroopers Virtualon. It highlights the release of new real model action figures featuring Feyen and APHARMD. Additionally, limited edition 2 Pri-Color versions of Temujin, Raiden, and Viper 2 are also confirmed for release in March. The article notes these are pre-painted, assembled figures with movable joints, allowing for dynamic poses. The page also mentions an upcoming Virtualon national tournament, stating that details will be provided on the following page. Finally, there's a giveaway section offering a set of Virtualon keychain figures. Images show the individual real models and the collection of keychain figures available as prizes. This page is all about the upcoming Cybertroopers Virtualon National Tournament Finals, set for March 29th at Ebisu Garden Hall. SEGA is pulling out all the stops to make this a memorable event for the dedicated Virtualon community. Beyond the intense final battles, attendees can expect some exciting perks. There will be presents for everyone who comes, potentially including popular merchandise like figures or t-shirts. Fans will also get a chance to play the upcoming spring title, Virtualon Oratorio Tangram, which will be set up at the venue. Expect to see key figures from the game's development team, including producer Juro Watari, along with some major guests hinted to be voice actors or mecha designers familiar to fans. For those looking for souvenirs, there will be limited edition merchandise available for purchase. Even if you're not competing, the event plans include fun mini-events designed for all attendees to enjoy and celebrate their passion for Virtualon. The page shows images of Virtualon artwork, figures, trading cards, and arcade cabinets, really driving home the excitement surrounding this culmination of the competitive season. This page is an AM2 Express Weekly Special, Volume 89, focusing on the upcoming arcade title, Fighting Vipers 2. The large illustration showcases the game's characters in vibrant detail, highlighting their updated designs, such as Jane's distinctive headpiece, which was a draw for fans at the recent AOU show. The game, running on the powerful Model 3 board, was a major success at the show, drawing huge crowds eager to play the near-final build. The text notes that Fighting Vipers 2 blends existing game systems with new elements, promising exquisite gameplay and impressive visuals made possible by the advanced hardware. It's scheduled for arcade operation this spring, and the buzz from the show suggests it's likely to be a major hit. Character popularity was evident, with Tokyo and Raxel being noted as fan favorites, alongside Sandman. The page emphasizes the excitement building for the release of this new fighting game from AM2. This page is a continuation of the AM2 Express Weekly Special on Fighting Vipers 2, focusing on the final 3 characters revealed: Grace, Raxel, and Sandman. It highlights their updated appearances and, more importantly, details their new and evolved fighting techniques. Grace is shown with vibrant new armor and a distinctive sun visor, showcasing significantly enhanced leg techniques, including moves like the sit spin to cross kick and the powerful scratch heart wall throw. A developer notes the appeal of her dynamic, supermodel-like body model. Raxel's unique guitar-based combat is greatly expanded, featuring new throws such as the Detroit Rockdown and various devastating guitar techniques, even incorporating wall interactions. The developer emphasizes the dramatic increase in his guitar-centric moves. Sandman also returns with updated visuals and powerful new throws and combos. While some moves like the low spin combo are familiar, their properties have been adjusted, adding depth to his gameplay. The page underscores how these 3 fan-favorite characters have been revamped with exciting new possibilities in Fighting Vipers 2. Note that the move commands are shown for when the character is facing right. This page continues the look at San Hapsman in Fighting Vipers 2, highlighting his powerful new strikes and throws. Sandman sports updated American bike-inspired armor with details like mufflers, enhancing his bike feel, according to a developer. The page details several new moves, including combinations, throws, and techniques like overdrive and elephant hug, showcasing his evolved fighting style. The page also introduces the arcade fishing game, Get Base. It reveals a secret technique allowing players to switch from the standard male character to a cute female character by pressing the lure select and cast buttons simultaneously during area select. This technique also changes the game's voice announcements.
Get Base was shown at the AOU show in a Blast City cabinet featuring a realistic rod controller. Trivia mentions a special lure awarded for catches and hints at massive base over 9,000 kg. This page explores the subtle relationship between games and art, presented as the 50th entry in a column. The focus is on fishing games, specifically featuring Sea Bass Fishing 2. The author reflects on different approaches to fishing, contrasting the sports type with a more philosophical pursuit. He discusses how the game captures the feeling of reeling in a fish, even recounting a personal, physically demanding experience fishing for piranhas in the Amazon. The reviewer is struck by moments of realism in Sea Bass Fishing 2, finding an unexpected depth that could be described as philosophical. The page includes a screenshot of the game, a photo hinting at the Amazon anecdote, and a cartoon illustration of the author, Dr. Fuse, who is known for bridging gaming and reality. This page features a weekly horoscope section presented by Hakozaki's mother, covering the period from February 27th to March 5th. It kicks off by highlighting this week's lucky person, which is identified as Liko Hran from the classic Sega Saturn title, Sakura Wars. The fortune for Liko Hran is broken down by categories like money, health, work/study, and love, suggesting some potential fatigue and the need for rest before starting new things. The main part of the page dives into horoscopes for all 12 zodiac signs, offering separate predictions for males and females under each sign. There's a simple visual system using colored squares next to each sign to indicate the overall weekly fortune level, from excellent to not quite. Each sign has a brief paragraph summarizing the week's outlook and advice. It's a fun, lighthearted feature, a common staple in magazines from this era, connecting astrological guidance with the gaming audience. And it's cool to see characters like Liko Hran integrated into these sections.
The segment includes a small profile of Hakozaki's mother herself, claiming over 2 decades in fortune-telling. This page dives into a treasure trove of hidden techniques for the Sega Saturn strategy game SD Gundam G Century S.
Kicking off the segment, we're presented with a way to tweak your unit's parameters
by navigating to the Action Battle Map selection, choosing Earth Underwater, and positioning your cursor on the Devil Gundam Army's Desnave unit, then holding L and R buttons while pressing Start, you can access an edit screen for your units. Just be aware, these changes won't be saved permanently.
Next up, a simple but neat trick allows you to customize the look of the options screen.
Inside the options menu, hitting either the L or R button will cycle through 4 different wallpaper designs, letting you personalize your game's interface. Perhaps the most impactful trick is the ability to instantly level up certain units just by renaming them to specific pilot names listed in the guide. This bypasses the normal progression and gives you a significant boost in level, rank, or NT level depending on the name chosen. The page includes examples and a list of names that trigger these bonuses, such as Ryu Jose getting a level boost or Katsu Kobayashi gaining NT level. Finally, the section wraps up by actively recruiting more hidden techniques from readers for any Saturn game, offering prizes like Saturn software or book vouchers for submissions that are published. It's a great way to involve the community and share gaming secrets. The next page shifts focus entirely, presenting the Sega Saturn Weekly Soft Review section. This is where the magazine previews upcoming Sega Saturn releases, offering hands-on impressions from different reviewers. First up is a look at Eternal Fantasia's second album, which has just been released. This is a simulation game, specifically a training simulation, featuring anime-style characters like the pink-haired girl shown in the screenshot. The reviewers seem to enjoy it, noting that the characters feel lively and that familiar faces from the previous game return. The gameplay, which incorporates elements of a board game, Sugoroku, for progression, is described as relaxing with pleasant music and short load times. While some events are special, others are standard. The game scores an average of 7.33, suggesting it's a solid, enjoyable entry for fans of the genre. Below that is a preview of Virtual Mahjong, set to release soon on March 5th.
This title features mahjong gameplay where your opponents are presented as 3 virtual girls. Visually, the game uses polygons for the girls, which some reviewers find less appealing than 2D art. The Creepew's turn speed is noted as surprisingly fast, though the overall average score is lower at 4.66. Reviewers discuss the game's camera angles for viewing the girls, and comment on the standard mahjong rules. A small sidebar introduces the reviewers, giving a brief glimpse into their gaming preferences, ranging from simulation and racing games to fighting titles and sound novels, helping readers understand the perspective behind each comment.
This page dives into more previews from the Sega Saturn's upcoming releases. First up is Wipeout 2097, the high-speed futuristic racer. Reviewers praise its intense speed and the unique floating sensation it provides. While some note visual tweaks compared to the PlayStation version and a slight difference in the handling feel, the game's impactful techno soundtrack and sleek design, associated with Designers Republic, are highlighted as major draws. It scores a solid 7.0, indicating a strong entry for racing fans.
Next we see Worldwide Soccer 98, an updated football simulation. This version boasts enhanced controls and a massive selection of 108 teams, plus support for online play via Xband. Reviewers have mixed feelings, commenting on the character size appearing small at times, and some potentially frustrating aspects of the goalkeeper AI and player switching. Despite some criticisms, the overall impression suggests a comprehensive football experience, earning an average score of 6.33. Finally, there's Dawn of the Nile, a simulation game set in ancient Egypt that blends city building and strategy. Players work to develop their city and expand territory through battles. Reviewers found the initial gameplay somewhat plain, but noted that the core loop of managing resources and growth becomes quite engaging. Some frustrations were mentioned regarding the interface, difficulty displaying money, and surprisingly short character lifespans, but it ultimately scores a 6.0 as a potentially addictive simulation. This page presents a detailed schedule for upcoming software releases on the Sega Saturn. It kicks off with a guide on how to interpret the information provided, laying out the abbreviations used for various game genres like action, RPG, adventure, simulation, shooting, sports, racing, puzzle, and more, along with compatibility notes for peripherals such as the mouse, mission stick, and multi-terminal adapter. The core of the page is a comprehensive list of titles, with their release dates spanning March and April, plus some exciting games slated for future release. Each entry provides the game title, its price, the publisher, the genre, and any special compatibility requirements or age restrictions. This list covers a wide array of software, giving players a look at the diverse range of experiences heading to the Saturn. The next page continues the comprehensive schedule of upcoming Sega Saturn software releases, picking up from the previous month's listings and extending into May, June, July, August, spring, summer, and even into 1998, with many titles still awaiting a firm release date. It offers a fantastic overview of the diverse lineup heading to the Saturn, maintaining the format from the previous page, with columns detailing the release date, game title, price, publisher, genre, and any specific hardware compatibility like RAM expansion or modem support. Looking through this schedule, we see a wealth of exciting titles. Notable games include Castlevania, Symphony of the Night, the Dungeons & Dragons Collection, Shining Force 2 Eyes Scenario 2, Resident Evil 2, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, and potentially Rayman 2 and Virtua Fighter 3. It is a strong mix of genres on display, from action and RPGs to simulation, adventure, fighting games, and even niche titles like dating sims and educational software. The inclusion of titles like Heart of Darkness and Lunar Eternal Blue shows the Saturn wasn't just getting Japanese-developed games, but also key international releases. It's clear from this extensive list that the Saturn had a very active development scene, with plenty for players to look forward to across a wide spectrum of gaming experiences. This page features a special Reader's Present campaign from SEGA Saturn Magazine. It details upcoming features in the next issue, including the results of the Grand Prix 97 awards, information on Eve the Lost One, and Super Robot Wars F. The main focus is the Present campaign, offering readers a chance to win prizes by answering a survey. The entry deadline is March 13th, with winners announced in a future issue. A contact number is provided for magazine content inquiries. The page also lists the winners from a previous prize draw, highlighting individuals from various prefectures across Japan who won items like Sega Saturn software, game-themed phone cards, postcard sets, and keyholders,
featuring titles like Tokimeki Memorial and Jingle Park. The prizes for the current campaign are exciting. 20 winners will receive a SEGA Saturn software title released by March 13, 1998, exemplified by a screenshot of what appears to be a fighting game. 5 winners get a poster for the Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner TV drama. 10 winners can grab a phone card featuring artwork from the unique city simulation game Odo Renaissance. 3 winners will receive a charming postcard set from the cute arcade shooter Twinkle Star sprites. Finally, 5 winners will receive the action game Sonic Council, based on a popular comic series. It's a great selection covering different genres for fans. This page is an announcement for NEC Interchannel's presence at the Tokyo Game Show, 98 Spring. It invites attendees to experience their latest game software lineup. The event takes place at Makuhari Messe Exhibition Halls 18 on March 21st and 22nd, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. NEC Interchannel's booth is located at F18. Visually, the page features a large, energetic illustration of anime-style characters, some making peace signs, suggesting a lively and friendly atmosphere. Below this, smaller panels highlight specific games with screenshots and character art. The featured titles include the simulation games Debut 21 and Monster Maker Holy Dagger, the role-playing games Favorite Deer and Black/Matrix, and the love adventure game Friends, Seishun no Kagayaki. These games cover a range of genres, indicating NEC Interchannel was bringing a diverse selection to the show. The page also notes that advance tickets for the show are on sale for 800 yen, with same-day tickets costing 1,000 yen. It's a straightforward advertisement, encouraging visitors to check out their booth and demos. This page is a teaser advertisement for the SEGA Saturn game Real Sound 2 Kiri no Orugoru from developer Warp. Known for pushing boundaries with audio-only adventure games like the original Real Sound Kaze no Regret, Warp promotes this sequel with a stark, dark blue background featuring only the game's title logo and the release date of June 1998. Intriguingly, the page includes a prominent warning slogan that translates to, "Caution! This is a truly frightening software," hinting at a potentially horror-themed experience delivered purely through sound. There are no screenshots or character visuals shown, keeping the focus entirely on the title and its mysterious nature. The page also notes it's from the March 13, 1998 issue of SEGA Saturn Magazine.